Hello and welcome. Thank you so much for tuning in tonight to Illuminated Page as we continue our journey on the through horror on the Orient Express from Chaosium Incorporated tonight. As always, I am your keeper, Rue, and I am joined by my fabulous table of role players and friends and just great all-around people. And I'm going to let them introduce themselves to you and their characters. So, alphabetically, Ala, I believe you are starting it off again.
All right. Hi, everyone. I am Ala, and I am playing Emily Bront, who is a veteran of the Great War and the party's babysitter.
Yeah. And next would be Alyssa. Please introduce yourself.
Hello, everyone. I'm Alyssa, and I play Cleo, who is the group's resident occultist. The babysitter, but only of occult things.
Yeah, she's the spiritual babysitter that as you reach for something that could be bad, she slaps you with a, just slaps your hand away and just says, "Do not touch. Let me touch." And
For the record,
the sanity.
I need no excuse to slap anyone.
It's true. Absolutely true.
Absolutely true. I don't either in real life, but no, I usually don't. Anyway, Matt, you are next in the alphabet. I do know my letters. You're next.
I am playing Johanna Ronaldi Stad, a countess, and I'm the one that needs to be babysat. So
yes.
Not just in real life, but also in occult things. So all around, I help this group overall.
Yeah, Matt is here, and his character is here to really just hammer home why I don't have children. Sean, last but certainly not least, introduce us to Kelsey.
I'm playing Kelsey Haskins. I am the group's professional locksmith and doer of things that need to be done.
Was that a quotey fingers?
Nope, not this time. Nope.
Just legitimate. I am a locksmith.
Legitimate locksmith.
I can smith a lock.
I am the doer of
deeds.
Things that
dirty deeds.
Yeah, no, I don't want to go into that song.
Done dirt cheaply.
Oh no, they're not done dirt cheap.
According to our resident financier, not dirt cheap. Not dirt cheap.
This is true. But we do have what the Countess did not mention is that she is definitely the group's sponsor and patron. The money is all coming now. While Emily,
we got 1,000 pounds from the professor.
Smith fancies himself a patron of something, but the Countess scoffed at his measly 1,000 pounds that he handed over for a trip across the continent.
Frankly, an insult.
I mean, we're only going to get like 4 bananas out of that. Like,
yeah.
But what does that even buy us? A chair on the train?
It buys you a single wooden dining chair, not even attached to anything. It's in not even the observation or dining car.
It's strapped to the back of one of the cabooses, and we just hope.
What you can hope is that 1,000 pounds at least gets you a better seat and not in a cabin with a man making a train track out of innards. So hopefully that helps. But anyway, that's my cast, and you know who I am. I just want to go over a couple things real fast. We are playing Pulp Cthulhu, 7th edition, essentially. And so we're going to do things a little differently than the module might have me do, and might be different how you're familiar with Call of Cthulhu 7th edition. One of the things that we're going to do in a second, which is regain some sanity after the conclusion of the first portion of this adventure where they spent a lot of time in London. The past 6 weeks have all been in England, gathering information and intel as they prepare to get sent on this journey across Eurasia, essentially. One thing I want to mention is that we are collecting donations now for Ukrainian relief through the Red Cross. Any Twitch subs, coffees, I don't know why I can't say that right. The hyphen throws me off. It's like mentally, I'm like, I have to say it weird.
Fine.
So yeah, if you buy us a coffee, if you do any kind of Streamlabs donations, if you look under the viewer or under the player, there should be 3 large buttons. One says website, one says Discord, and one says donate via Streamlabs. If you click there, that will send us, you can just donate openly. All of that money goes 100% to Red Cross. Any Twitch subs or bit spins during this show will also go to Red Cross Ukrainian Relief, as well as, I did want to point this out, if you're familiar at all with how Twitch allocates their subscription money, we usually only get about $2.50. John and I are going to match that $2.50 to make sure that we get the full sub price into the Red Cross. So whatever you're spending, the $5 or whatever tier you spend at, if for some reason you really want to support and you want to do a tier 3 subscription at $25 for a month, then we will match whatever we get to make sure that that full amount goes to the charity and not to us. So, but yeah, so if you're able, we'd love it. If not, thank you so much for joining us tonight, and I hope we tell a story that brings you back. So thank you for tuning in. That said, let's get into tonight's adventure. First, though, we are going to talk about sanity. So if I remember correctly, players, I don't think sanity losses were super extreme. I do think, Countess, you did have a hard time on the train, though, right?
Yeah, a little bit.
But yeah,
Just a wee bit crazy.
just a wee bit. Would 15 top you off?
Oh, geez, that would top me off, and I'm down like 13.
Okay, so I was thinking 15. Someone could argue for 20 if someone wants to push it. I can be convinced. I just, obviously, Cleo, you have lost max sanity, so you cannot go above that.
No, yeah, I'm only down 4 from what?
Okay.
From the max.
I'm curious, does the module give an amount?
It does not.
Okay.
No, that's a pulp mechanic.
No, because in masks, this is my experience with masks.
Sure.
At the end, it's like, did they do these things, and you check boxes, and then it gave you an idea of what to give them back at the end.
That is actually not in this.
Weird. Okay, cool.
It has, let's see. I have a hard time scrolling and pushing my push to talk button, but I'm pretty sure when I went through this, it did not give anything like that. But let me double check. Because I was kind of surprised, because I've played some of their solo adventures, and it kind of tells you if they did this and this and this, then, whatever. But this one, it's just like, oh, you left England?
There was at least one chapter, I think it's the New York chapter for masks, where it's like, did they survive and not burn down a building? Go ahead and give them a lot of sanity back.
Nice. See, that would be great. Well, let me do one check to make sure they didn't sneak it in at the end of a thing that we did not do. I chose to take one of the scenarios and make it information that you all just got instead of making you play it. But it's considered part of this chapter, so let me make sure that they didn't just needle it in at the end of that like a bunch of jerks.
Yeah, the layout of some of the modules from Chaosium are great. They just they're like, oh, and now you're done, and they put a bunch of stuff at the end that kind of just you need, but you don't need until the end, and
but
it's
you
all
also
kind of
don't need,
chunked on there at the end. So sometimes it can get a little weird.
Yeah, they gave me nothing. So yeah, I'm going to give you, according to pulp rules, they say try to reward them with enough sanity to kind of make up for most of what they lost.
Okay.
I think 15 is fine. You guys really, besides the Doom Train, which was a little bit more harrowing. Sorry, my dog's walking around. Is a little bit more harrowing than y'all handled the flayed guy really well. I mean, honestly. What I think, Countess, you lost like less than 3, didn't you, when you saw the flayed
it wasn't.
man?
I just lost a bunch
on
over
the train.
time. Yeah, it was not great. So,
well, in all fairness, some of us didn't see the filleted guy.
Well, he wasn't filleted. He was just
flayed.
Filet,
Yeah,
filet.
but I
I mean,
you know, but
There was a
yeah. So
question. Okay.
my discretion, I chose 15. I thought that should be enough to top you guys off. So
so
15, don't go over your max.
I can go over my starting though.
Absolutely.
Okay, cool. 65 it is.
As the reasoning I'm giving is that as you've put this behind you, you've started to get into motion. You've got your tickets for the Orient Express. You took the train from London down to I'll read this here in a second, but I think it's Southampton.
Yeah, it is
Um,
Southampton. That's the dock.
yeah, and then you'll take the ferry into Calais, and then you'll get on some more train to get down to Paris. But as you get farther away from the events of the flayed portent and the Doom train, and this train that you're on looks nothing like the one that you were on in the pocket dimension. Sorry, she won't settle down. This is
He's
unusual for
dancing.
her. Yeah, she's just. Yeah, John's trying to get it. There she goes. Okay. But as you put that behind you and you are now doing the task that Professor Smith, if you remember, was like, go quickly. And then you took a few days to to really
I
go.
mean, listen.
Well,
Yeah.
we're gonna go unprepared. That's just
No.
silly.
Yeah. And,
That's how you get flayed.
This is true. The other thing that I think Professor Smith did not understand is that you guys do not think nearly as highly of him as he thought of you. So he was like, these are my friends, they will do this for me. And Beddoes is like, go. And Beddoes is just tracking you guys around London going, what the
You're
fuck?
still here.
He said, go, you have to do this. So let me just give you a quick little rundown of kind of what's gone on.
Hey, question real quick, Roxy.
Oh yeah, sure.
Did we ever give away all of the PDFs?
I'm looking inquisitively at the producer. I'm pretty sure we did.
For Pulp, yes, I think.
For Pulp, we did. I don't think we ever got rid of the one for
The
7th
last
Sea.
one for 7th Sea, I don't think.
I was just curious. We have a new.
Do we have a new person in chat?
We have a new person who was asking about the variation in the rules, and I just didn't know if we hadn't. Maybe now would be a time to announce that later. We'll have a little.
Sure.
But
I will
if
have
we've given
John
them
look
away,
into that.
we've given them away. So
Yeah, I'll have John look into the message history and see who got those. And then, yeah, if we have an extra one, we would love to. So thank you for joining us, new person. I, as a rule, because this is my first on-stream campaign, I am avoiding most of the Twitch chat because I get super distracted, if you can't
That's fair.
tell already. But if something happens out there, please do let me know.
the new person is a mere nugget, and literally is their username. I'm not just.
Don't let
making
anyone ever
assumptions.
tell you that you are a mere nugget.
Not just a mere nugget. You're a great nugget there.
You are a hunk of gold ore.
There you go.
I don't know what an upgrade from a nugget is. A tinder. So let's see here. Let me do a little ready read. So essentially, what is happening is where did I read this earlier?
I'm sorry. And one more question. Can we do a
Go
luck
ahead.
advance?
Absolutely. Roll that luck advance.
I have a feeling we might need it because
So
I feel
yes,
like we burned a lot last time too, so.
We did, yeah. It was last time. So, as a brief recap, what happened at the end of their London excursion was they had come into knowledge of this train set, or this man that had bought a train set and then had suddenly disappeared. And under very suspicious circumstances, to the point that some people thought he may have spontaneously combusted. All kinds of weird theories were being bandied about, but at the end of the day, the investigators got a hold of this train set, and they discovered that once it ran a certain number of times around the circuit, these eldritch symbols that were carved on it actually opened a gateway into a ghost dimension, and out came a specter train, essentially a ghost train of the London Liverpool Express of 1897. And they were ushered onto the train. Well, one of the investigators, Cleo, was ushered onto the train by the train's occupants. And then it was just a whole ordeal to try to get back to terra firma in that adventure. And they met a crazy occultist named Randolph Alexis, who is a known practitioner of dark arts and occulty things. And he constructed his own train set out of intestines and viscera, and then took an old green and graying heart that he used as the car, and he just ran it around the track manually, like an insane man, while the train's occupants tried to attack our investigators and suck their souls out through their faces. So none of that happened, and they were able to exit and destroy the train. Did you guys destroy the train, or did you just leave it there?
No.
Oh, I beat the crap out of it, much like
Yeah.
Office Space.
Okay, that's right. That's right.
And we left the occultist on the train.
Here's a little GM behind the screen tidbit. If you guys had just destroyed the train and not summoned it, it would have him and the train and Henry Stanley would have haunted your dreams for the rest of your lives.
Well, that's good.
Because
like every dream, like every night.
Like every night you would see Henry Stanley just screaming in a train window,
being eaten by an occultist.
You know, screaming for help every night, because interacting with the train and not actually summoning it cast its dark hex upon you, and the train would not take lightly to being destroyed and not summoned. I don't know.
Would Henry not just have gotten eaten at some point?
I mean, time will tell. So no, so yes, as you leave, I'm trying to see. I read this like beautiful description of. I
just realized the landlady's going to be so disappointed.
You gave her gems. She'll be fine.
She's
but
just
he shows back up. He's going to take his apartment back. You know,
he's not going to show back up. He died. Remember?
Yeah, he died.
Oh, that's right.
He got his soul sucked out through his face.
That's right. Okay, thank you. Oh, she'll be fine.
She's going to be able to do
She's gonna be fine
until the end of time.
She gonna be fine. Let's see here. I read this beautiful like description of the countryside as you guys leave London, and for whatever reason I've lost it. Here we go. I found it. I'm smart. So you bought your tickets from the offices of Thomas Cook and Son, and that's Cook and Son, not Cook and Son. And like I told you, the first class ticket for the Orient Express runs you £21, 14 shillings, and 9 pence. So you'll get on a train. You'll actually get on a train in London that will then take you down to Southampton. So the trip from London to Paris takes about 8 hours. The train travels leisurely but without stopping through the English countryside, through Kent, across the Romney marsh grasses, and finally into Dover. A journey requiring a little under 2 hours to make. If you are used to English transport and train travel in England, this trip is relatively short, and it's kind of confusing to you. You're used to it stopping all the time and travel taking much longer, especially for the distance that you are going at this time. But at Dover, you boarded a ferry for the... Oh, I just thought of something else that I meant to write down and I didn't, but I got it. Would you, Countess, Emily, and Cleo, probably not Sean or Kelsey. Emily might, just because the Countess would probably assign this task or attempt to. Would you send ahead to the library there in Paris to allow you entrance? Now remember, the reading room in the British Museum required kind of like letters of note, references from academics, if you weren't a member of the peerage and things like that. Would you have prepared and done that in London? Send ahead?
I probably would have contacted my father's business manager and had him send that.
Okay, that's
leaning
fine.
on the nobility side of things.
Okay, I just didn't know if you would perchance prepare for such a thing, or if you'd ever maybe had to deal with it before. But that is perfectly fine. So at Dover, you boarded the ferry for the coast of France and the city of Calais. Or on the ferry, there were general rooms, but the ferry passage only takes about, I think it's 8 hours. Anyway, it says there are general rooms aboard the ferry, but passengers may have prearranged private first or second class berths. Knowing the Countess, I assume she did, at least for herself. Not sure what if she took care of the rest of you, but I assume...
She's like, fuck you guys.
I would have assumed that Emily would have taken care of the passage and would have done the first class for me. I really don't know what she would have done for anyone else.
She would have taken care of it. I think she would have
begrudgingly.
Just use that $1,000 for Kelsey and Cleo's
Exactly. They're not coming out of the Countess's estate.
The general fund.
Just,
Yeah.
Discretionary spending fund.
That's right. A first-class ticket aboard the Orient Express does not insure a first-class cabin on this ferry. So even if you had paid for the first class on the train, it would not necessarily get you that here. But it's been taken care of. Emily's got it on lock. Let's see. First-class tickets for the boat train cost a little under £6. So again, you're not. I mean, really, this is inexpensive in scope of the money that you have access to. The crossing ordinarily requires a few hours. You know what? Let me just see something. Let me just take a little gander here.
Yeah, it's not very far from Southampton to Calais. It's actually a pretty...
Yeah, it's a pretty short little trip. I think I was thinking 8 hours the whole way. Like from London.
Yeah.
That's a good number. So, yeah, seas are calm. The wind is in your favor as you tootle yourselves across the English Channel. Once you're at Calais on the front side of the channel, you then get on another train, which is not the Express itself, but these train cars will actually meet up with the Orient Express in Paris and be joined to it. So you will ride in a fairly nice car that is not to the status of what the Orient Express will offer you once you get on the train itself, but it's definitely better than what you rode in coming on the passenger train out of London. So, do you wish to stop in Paris?
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely? Okay, good. Because you got to go there anyway if you want to stop and do some research there. There is plenty to do. No, you guys didn't fly. You're good. That's the thing that gets me. You could totally just fly.
The flight is not that normal in
no,
1923.
It's not, but it's like investigators may also choose to fly to Paris. And like I have a whole thing about like air routes and things, and I'm just like, but the train.
Investigators may choose to literally never step foot on the
Orient Express. Fuck the name of the adventure. It doesn't matter. It's a suggestion.
How many days do we have before the train leaves?
You can feasibly spend like a week here, and it'll be fine.
Okay.
And GM foreshadowing. If you're going to research things here, it's going to take you some time. The research in London was kind of limited. Most of your really valuable information came from the professor. Mm-hmm. Here in Paris, you don't have, like, you have the notes that like what the professor had kind of learned from his research, and now you really have to just start digging based on the leads that you picked up. So, and if anybody remembers, those of us that played Masks of Nyarlathotep, or if you've ever played another Chaosium or Call of Cthulhu thing, library use rolls are usually like a once-a-day thing. You get to do it once a day, and that is your research for the day. And as you continue to study there, it takes days upon days upon days and gets a little bit more difficult every time. So, I definitely, if I was thinking about this, because I know two of y'all are not super cozy with research, so you do have the entire city of Paris to explore, and there is plenty of other things that you could get up to while your compatriots are, making out with books in the Bibliothèque Nationale.
Right, it's not like you have to share my personal business with everybody.
I'm sorry. That was uncalled for. I can't believe I did that. So
bibliophile indeed.
That's right, whole new meaning. So, when you're in Paris, I have to ask, what kind of accommodations do you seek? Would you like a luxury hotel, Countess? Or would you prefer something...
Absolutely.
We're not traveling like peasants here. Come on. This is a vacation.
That's right. Do y'all have access to the Traveler's Companion that I sent you?
Honestly, actually, my father might have lodging in Paris. It's Paris.
Oh.
It's Paris.
Well,
It's the Paris of France, even.
It's not the one. It's not the one of Tejas, which is
Texas
completely.
Paris.
Yeah, it's not Texas Paris. So yes, you are in the fine city of Paris, and you may have family here, or family lodging. So let's make a little bit of a roll. Let's do a credit rating. I'm going to make you do a few things, and I'm just going to see kind of what we get here. But I know your credit rating's good.
That is a hard success on credit rating.
Fantastic. And then I need you to make a... Let's do a education roll.
Oh, yeah. Hold on. That is not a success. Let me see what I need to spend. I'll spend the 6 points to get down to success on that.
Okay. And then let me just see. What'd you get? You got just regular successes both times?
The first one was a hard success. The second was a regular success.
Okay, yep. You indeed do. You have a small manor in the northeast of it's probably not in Paris proper, but it's out northeast. I might be able to even come up with a name of a city. Could I be even that prepared? Let's see here. Why don't you... It's a little north, and it's in, I believe it's pronounced Saint Denis. And you'll have a small state house there that you may stay in. It's probably currently under watch of like a third cousin.
Okay.
But they're away in Majorca. I don't know.
No, I assume there's still a staff there that would take care of the house. So I'm
absolutely.
We're not going to have to do anything. Just show up.
No, yeah, but when you do show up, they were not expecting you, and they're like, "Oh," and so they kind of
in advance.
Okay.
Come on, we're not gonna spring that on the help.
I would have, but Emily probably.
Emily was like, "Absolutely not."
Leo's like, I mean, even we didn't know that we were coming here because we didn't know that it existed until right now.
Till right now, and the voice from the heavens was like, "You have family.
You have a home."
Okay, yeah. So yeah, you set up. It's a lovely state house. It can be equipped. I will, based on what I rolled, which was super shitty. I'm going to say that you can put in it whatever you think is feasible. Any sort of resources, library, whatever, study, nice room, jacuzzi, pool.
Yeah, I would assume that there's probably a library, but it is not in any way, shape, or form occultish, except accidentally with like one book or two, maybe.
It is fantastically dry. It is so dry you're afraid to smoke a pipe in here. It is all like French history, but like history of the lesser house of some nobody really in as far as history is concerned, but somebody wrote a voracious diary, and it just, there's like 100 volumes of it.
Nice. You said Saint Denis.
Sorry, I had to dose up. Yep.
Okay, so Saint Denis.
I mean
that's how it's spelled. I'm looking at the map. That's all I was curious where we were at.
No, I know. I'm going to do my best to recall French 1 and 2 from high school.
If I recall my French, I can sing you a song about a cat in an attic, and then I might be able to quote a little bit of Uncle Buck.
Nice.
That's what I remember from French.
Nice. Yeah, I took French 1. The teacher was pretty good. It was a nice introductory course. I felt like I did okay. French 2, she decided to incorporate a whole new style of teaching, which was teaching high schoolers hand motions to associate with words, like you teach children. Small children.
I like how chat suddenly got real nerdy about Saint Denis, as though we all should know about it. And by chat, I mean people that live with you.
I don't know anything about Saint Denis. I don't. But yeah, she taught us. So I remember, and I can't do this because I have to keep a hand on the button. But essentially, there was a poisson for fish, and there was like bronze for tanning, like I'm getting a tan, and there was a whole song that she taught us about like literally tanning fish in the forest, because it was just hand motions and words, and it was really dumb. I learned nothing for an entire 2 semesters of French 2 as a sophomore or as a junior. came back for French 3, and that teacher had fucked off into the ether because she probably wasn't a very good teacher. And they moved off somewhere else, brought in this woman who had taught Paul Rudd French in when he was in high school. And she comes in first day and she's like, she's, oui, oui, bienvenue, blah, 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 blah. She's doing all this stuff, and we're like, parlez-vous anglais? Because I have no idea what you just said. And she's like, this is French 3. You should be able to understand everything that I'm telling you. And we were like, no.
You're like, we know a song about a forest and fish.
I know how to say, dude, where's my car in French. That's the extent of my French, Miss Zelensky. So, and yeah, it was miserable. So I know nothing. Except for Mekoué Ma Voiture, which is apparently equivalent of Dude, Where's My Car? Saint-Denis. Well, I hope it's an exciting place, but that's where your state house is. So, once you get there, again, I will share with you a map of Paris at this time. You do not have to worry about paying for lodging because your cousin Norbert is out of town and he left you the house.
Norbert.
Oh, I'm sorry. Norbert.
No, there you go. Yeah, perfect. Perfection.
Okay, thank you. Let's see here.
Are you dropping out in the handouts folder?
I hope to. Let me see where I say to.
That's the dream.
So if y'all want to think about, like, of course you have the normal sites. So you have the Bibliothèque Nationale, which is the big ass library that I believe Smith mentioned that you could probably find some stuff about the Cit of Cash simulacrum. And then you also have the Louvre, and you have the Catacombs, and you have all the, like, general sites that you could go see. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Did you guys hear any of that?
Good.
All the points you can go see, and then you cut off.
Okay, but you heard about the Louvre and the okay, cool. So yeah, any of those things you can probably go see. You can go check out some antique shops. You are looking for weird old statue parts, you're looking for scrolls, and then so yeah, kind of talk amongst yourselves how you want to divide as you get settled in your house. And I'm going to drop that map to you in just a second.
Well, the first thing we need to do, because I've checked my notes like 4 times. I did not write down the name of the family, the French family. I'm not sure why.
The Fenelic? You had the
Comte. Oh, you know what? It's right here in this other note that.
Yeah, it wasn't a whole family, but it was. That part of the notes that the professor had given you, which is one of the handouts as well, spoke of a Comte Fenelic, and you did read a little bit about him.
Yeah, and there's
some kind of scandal.
Fenelic family.
Right. There were no descendants as far as you know.
From Poissy? Is that right?
Poissy, yeah.
Oh yeah, he had his parties.
Yeah, he had Montrose parties. Yeah, okay. So that's where we can start. I guess we could start doing research there. I would like to find maybe an occult bookstore and start with getting some good. You know what? No. First, I'd like to start on the train. Can we start on the train?
Sure. The one to Paris, yeah.
Yeah, I'd like to have a conversation with maybe Cleo. Yeah.
Go for it.
Like so on the way, I will just after we've grabbed tea or whatever it is in the dining car. I don't know. Whatever fancy things we do in France. I'll just sit down with Cleo while Emily and Kelsey are not near us. Say, Chloe, I'm concerned. It seems that there are quite a few things that I am not aware of, and that knowledge, that lack of knowledge, could be hampering us. That's the. I think that you contain a great deal of knowledge, but I've also found that people taught in the same classroom don't remember the exact same details. not in a bad way, just that each person's mind focuses on different details.
That's a fair assessment.
I don't
Sorry,
know.
y'all.
I
My
don't
drink
know.
just exploded.
No worries.
Oh, no.
Do what you need to do.
Continue.
I don't know what is in the book that you found in the reading room, but I would like to again request a chance to read it. I know that you think it's dangerous. I don't think you're wrong. But we just there are things that need to be understood. I am behind on that knowledge.
I understand what you're saying. I understand any frustration or any nervousness around someone having information that you don't have. That is an emotion with which I can definitely empathize. I'm reticent to share it, not only because it's dangerous, but because, not that I think that you're not well schooled in certain things in the occult, because I think you are, but there's so much of it that if you don't have certain other knowledges, don't make sense. It would be like reading a language you don't understand. And trying to make sense of words that have no meaning to you. You know, and I certainly think I will be clear, I am not 100% opposed to somebody else reading it, but I do think it's something that we should perhaps bring up with the group. That we should say, you know, and this could be a rule going forward for me, potentially. I mean, sometimes I read things that I don't know are going to be potentially dangerous until after I've read them. But, you know, knowledge is wonderful and also dangerous and very powerful, and maybe it's something that we discuss with everybody in terms of,
Well, and
do we want to move forward with potentially dangerous knowledge? Do we want just one of us to do it, or do we want everyone to know?
Well, and we just saw firsthand what that knowledge can do. I don't think that Mr. Alexis started out as a bad person.
No, I would agree.
But obviously something in his studies, or perhaps his time on the train, who knows? Something left him changed. And I won't say that the train didn't have an effect on me. I think it obviously did. I think it did on all of us.
Yes.
But I think that you and I are being more realistic about it than perhaps Ms. Brandt and Mr. Haskins.
It's understandable.
And I don't think that their approach to this is necessarily the wrong one either. But
no, you know, I think I've said this before, and I will say it again, that I think it's important that you have people who are searching for information like this and also believe in stuff like this, and people who don't, because otherwise you can't have, you know, it's then everyone's looking at things super subjectively as opposed to objectively.
I do your analogy for looking at a language and not understanding it, that is not actually something that only makes me think that it's more important. I've not met a language that I don't want to know.
It's hard. It's fair, because I think we share that that desire and that curiosity for things. I mean, why don't we do this? Because I don't have that book anymore, right? I wasn't able to take that out of the library, right?
I assumed
So I don't
you
have
stole it when we
I did not steal it.
battled.
Okay. Okay, so if you're saying you didn't even try, because I was thinking that guy did fall off and it created quite a ruckus. You might have been able to nip away with it if you really wanted to, but we might
I
have to go back and do a
considered
little
it.
bit of a roll. Okay.
I considered it. I mean, if we, I know this is sort of after the fact, if we decide as a group that we want me to have tried to do that, I can certainly roll for it because it's something she considered, but she was a little nervous considering Ophelia was the one that got her in there and she didn't want to like tarnish her mentor's name.
Johanna just assumed that the poor people stole a book.
It wouldn't be the first time, but
I have to give you props, Matt. You're very reminiscent of Wes Otis and I in that one game with you, where we were terrible people. We were rich, horrible people.
I'm taking notes from Wes and his
Reginald was fantastic.
Yeah, she did write down. She did transcribe certain portions of it, because she would have. So if she didn't steal it, what she could say is, you know, I did take some notes. There are parts of it that I took word for word. I think perhaps you let me retranscribe it again, a section of it or a paragraph, and I will let you read that portion, and we can move on from there. So you're not getting it all at once in a big kind of confusing blob.
It allows me to take it in. I think that's a good idea. I would also say that if we come across anything that you cannot read, then we also could be losing out on potential knowledge. I don't think that you're like most Americans and completely uneducated in other languages, but
I don't speak French, so certainly, you know, the library in Paris, I assume most of the books will be in French.
French and German, I would expect, and probably some Latin, and those are all things that I do speak. One of them is my native language, even. And then there are other languages I speak beyond those that I would be happy to assist you with. And even, I think that getting some basic French phrases down would be helpful. The French are not... they don't have the nicest look of Americans.
Yeah, and I mean, I speak English and I speak Gaelic and kind of old Celtic, what they would have spoken at the time of, you know, the Druids. So it's very useful for my work, but not always useful for my life.
You also speak New Englander, which is not what the French would consider proper English.
Mm-hmm. I speak American.
Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Just I will take your guidance, or if you want to take it to Mr. Haskins and Ms. Brandt, I will take their guidance. But I don't think that leaving all of our knowledge in one place is necessarily the best option.
No, I think that that's a fair assessment. I do.
Are we any distance from you, Emily and myself, or did you find like a completely out of the way space to have?
I would have waited until the two of you had gotten up to go do something. Like, honestly, I didn't want to talk about the Wuji books in front of the two of you without talking to her first.
Yeah, because I just wanted to overhear the whole conversation because of my listen skill and be like, whatever. That's frat count. It's just, you know, drive yourself insane.
I think that taking it to Ms. Brandt and Mr. Haskins and asking them to watch both of us, because if Mr. Alexi has any potential for either one of us, I think that we need to be careful with that.
I agree. I think it's something we should, you know, kind of as a group is doing this business and also, you know, being fairly friendly with one another and traveling together. It's probably not a bad idea to say, hey, if we start acting weird.
Yeah, absolutely.
Note that.
Well, weirder, I guess.
Weirder.
So then, that's all okay. Matt wanted to do on the train. We can talk to them about it at some point. I'm not really super.
That's fine. That's fine. In looking back, Professor Smith did not mention the Bibliothèque Nationale, but he basically says, you know, there's research that can be done in France, and both of you would both. I'm confident, without even an ideal roll, that you guys would have led with probably looking at the library.
Yeah.
For the most reliable, especially about like French histories, anywhere where you might be able to find. Did you just send me a link, Matt?
I did not mean to. I was trying to adjust
Okay.
your audio.
Oh, that's okay. I just
Ignore that.
That's fine.
Alyssa was coming a little hot, so I adjusted hers, and then you were coming in a little quiet, so I adjusted yours up and then clicked on a thing. Because I'm good at this.
No, that's okay. I was just like, do I need that right now?
No.
You do not need that. So yeah, it wasn't in the notes specifically, but that's where you guys decide to go. So is that where you would like to start after you get settled, or would you like to huddle up and 1, 2, 3 break and figure out where everybody's going to disperse to? Is there anything, Emily, Kelsey, any of you would like to do while you're in Paris that you can think of that you would like to do more than the library?
So I would like to find an occult bookshop and maybe poke around to see if I could get a line on, like, the lay of the occult land in Paris.
Want to get another bookshop burnt down, don't you, Count?
Listen, hey, there's an art, like, clearly the Brotherhood of the Skin doesn't give a crap about burning houses down. They'll do it.
They'll do whatever they
That's
want
fair.
to.
Speaking of them, though, we should probably not split up, because if we have attracted an uncertain kind of attention, we should probably stick together.
You do know that they have somebody is definitely interested in y'all. And has been taking note of your movements.
The worst kind of notes, but
Skin notes.
You guys have 2 of those now?
Yeah.
We can make a whole person at this rate.
I would say probably...
They weren't that big.
At this rate. I'm assuming we get one every week or so,
Yeah.
Soon.
Well, they have to find the State House in Saint Denis that did not exist until 15 minutes ago. So hopefully you have some protection for a minute.
We'll be here a little while, and I'm assuming we'll draw attention one way or another because that's what we do. So
we got time. So assuming that we left early in the morning on the 10th, it's probably dinner time-ish when we get there.
By the time you get to the place, and then, with getting settled.
And then they're like, well,
that.
we don't have food for you, and we ended up eating, slumming it and eating sandwiches or something.
I like sandwiches.
No,
what's wrong with sandwiches?
I would assume over dinner that night, we would probably have a talk about the plan for Paris.
Awesome.
Or during, like, after dinner cocktails, because that's obviously something we...
Did you all receive the map? I dropped it in the handouts so you can kind of see some of the places are not going to make... I'm probably sharing a GM map with you, but it doesn't really tell you anything except for the locations of some things.
I forgot how far away Versailles is from Paris.
Yeah, it's a minute.
Folder.
And just to kind of let you know what's going on kind of in the area at this time, if you'd read the paper on the train, the headline did say that Yankees go home. Americans have pulled out of West Germany at this point. But in January of 1923 in Paris, all eyes are on the, forgive me if I mispronounce this, the Ruhr? C-R-U-H-R? French and Belgian troops occupy the area on tomorrow, January 11th, to force Germany to pay its reparations as a result of the Great War. People are afraid that this is going to lead to fresh conflict, and the streets are rife with protests. So just be aware that is kind of going on as you're here. There is a lot of
unrest
as the Great War is still being, the aftermath is still being dealt with.
We should lean on our French accents more than our German accents while we are here.
Well, yeah, and it's also like the people of
You
France...
just don't want to do 2 accents right now, Ala. I know better.
They are very close, and sometimes I just flip-flop them very easily.
I was trying to watch... I wanted to watch a movie with someone speaking in a French accent last night so I could prepare if I had to do French accents here. And I was looking for French Kiss with Kevin Kline and Meg Ryan, and I couldn't find it.
Nice.
So excuse this American's lack of knowledge, but we're currently at Saint Denis, correct?
Yes.
How far are we from Paris then? Is that like
in modern Paris? It's inside Paris.
okay?
Yeah. If you look at the second map I dropped, Sean, it's called
I'm
Paris Map
looking
West.
at it.
Yeah, it's just, I think, well, Poissy is only like 11 miles away.
Right.
So if that gives you a visual idea.
Yeah. No, that
We're
that
a couple
does
of
help.
miles outside of Paris proper in 1923.
Okay.
Yeah, we're in the countryside. It's not that far.
Kind of like being in spring and saying, "No, I live in the woodlands." Okay, I get it.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of like being anywhere in Houston. While not
Probably
actually being
closer,
in Houston.
actually.
Yeah. It's way closer than Katy is to Spring.
Okay, that
Way
makes sense.
closer.
Okay,
Way closer.
Cool. I got the visual.
I know people are like, what?
Yeah. Excuse us. We're trying to figure it
It's
out.
Sugarland to Missouri City. No, I don't.
That's actually kind of. So I guess I want to probably, while we're here, check in with home and see if there's anything Mr. Bombley needs me to do while I'm in Paris.
I like that his name is never the same.
I can never remember how to pronounce it.
You
but
really,
Bombali.
Bombali. Yeah, you did
Bombali.
Mr. Bombley.
Bombali.
I work for Tom Bombley, and we like
Tom
to crack
Bumblebee.
open trees.
Yeah, I'm sorry. It's been a long weekend
No,
for
hey,
me.
Sean,
No,
we're just
good.
no. This is fun stuff. We are actually not. It's one of those when you have an NPC that's not actually in the game, and you just like, have to remember their GD name.
Actually, next time when I'm developing a character backstory, it's going to be Smith, Frank
Smith.
Smith.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, so you're not far, and I bet there would be all sorts of things. Like when you reach out to Bombali, Bombali. Yeah, no, I'm messing up. Mr. Bombali, he's like, everything's fine. I don't know why I decided that was a Chicago person. Everything's fine.
Well, I did write him as Italian, but maybe not that caricature of Italian.
I'm not going to do that. But yeah, no, I'm just thinking of how Chicago people talk, and I don't know. I don't know any. But yeah, he's like, well, if you find anything, please, I trust your judgment, so at your discretion. But if something comes up, I didn't expect you to actually go to Paris. I thought you were going to come back after the
job in
the
England.
other guy, the job, and yeah, I had his name, but I lost it.
Yeah,
Doesn't matter.
Well,
Doesn't matter. We got his money.
Yeah.
Wait a second. Where did those jewels go?
Well, you didn't say to return the money. You just said to punish him. So I sent it off to a nice little lady that was losing some income.
Well, next time, punish a little this way. But
just so you know, I'm going to be kind of all over Europe. So if you have anybody that you need me to take care of while I'm over here, let me know.
Well, if you stop in Sicily, my aunt will take good care of you. If you know. I don't think the Orient Express goes there. I tried to pick a place. The Orient Express specifically does not go.
The Orient Express definitely does not go to Sicily.
It goes to what, like Venice?
Yeah, Sicily's the soccer ball to the boot.
Yeah.
Of Italy.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. But yeah, well, if you're gonna be all over, it's good. You got it.
See what I can
We
drum
got
up
family
for you.
there. But yeah, no, everything's fine. If how are you talking to? I don't know how you're talking to him. I think this is all in a telegraph. This is a series of text messages sent through the telegraph office. Everything's fine. Stop. I'll let you know if something comes up. Stop. Is this the best way to get a hold of you? Stop.
Return message is like, won't be home soon. I've got won't be home soon. Stop. Got a gig. Stop. Let me know if you need anything. We'll be all over Europe. Stop.
You get one message back is like, I've never heard of anybody named Europe. And stop.
Not
Be
responding
safe.
to it.
Stop.
I'm not responding to a dad joke.
He's rich. He doesn't care if he sends like however many cents a word it is. He's like, I don't care. He's like a son to me, Haskins.
You're not wrong. That's how that relationship is written.
Yeah. So, but yeah, so he doesn't have anything for you right now, but
Cool.
that may change. So, I would recommend that you plan to frequent, at least every couple days, stop into the telegraph office.
Okay.
See if there's anything for you.
Okay. And then I guess we'll hit the Louvre while we're here.
Oh, the Louvre.
The Louvre.
Well, in about 30 minutes, we're all going to take a loo break. So be looking forward to that. Yeah, no, that was a stretch. I'm sorry. Sorry, Ala gave me disappointed face. That made me feel bad in my insides.
That hurt my soul.
It was just weak. I know you can do better.
Thank you.
Also, Ala's got those like spun up and ready to go for any time the Countess speaks.
Just my usual face.
Just preloaded. Yeah. Okay. So, are you starting? What was the decision? Did the four of you want to stick together as you explore Perry?
I think for right now, yes, because there is some concern.
So, is what I'm going to recommend, just based on the things that we have discussed. The first stop on the 11th, I'm going to recommend that the Countess and Cleo make a stop at the Bibliothèque Nationale to present the letter, to check in that everything's cool, that you guys can go in. Because as foreigners, you do not have immediate access to the archives there. Does that make sense?
Sure.
So that's why I asked you if you were going to set that up ahead of time. Because you have letters of recommendation that got you into the reading room at the British Library. The library in Paris will contact them and confirm that you were doing research there as well.
They're really great, except there was this dead body they found.
Oh, it's probably good that I didn't steal the book. Yeah, they were great. She stole an old book.
There was also if the book if you had stolen the book, there would have been a little bit of an issue, but we would have rolled around with it, or rolled around it or something.
It would be a skinless man.
Yeah, I will say the flayed man did they probably don't even remember that you even looked at that book.
Well, and the hysterical countess.
And the hysterical crying, really, they just pushed you both as far out of their mental capacity as they could. So you're going to go ahead and get that started. They're like, okay, we received word from your father's man, whatever it was that you reached out to. And it's like, but it will take at least a day to confirm.
Of course.
So, so yeah, after that, if y'all want to head on over to the Louvre. I'm not going to try to sit here and use all the French names that the module gives me. I'm sorry, guys. I will just offend people. Let me be offensive on my own. Let's see. Scroll down. So yeah, the Louvre is beautiful. Have any of you ever been there in the real lives?
Yes.
Pictures.
Have you?
I was quite
Wonderful.
young, but yes.
That's fascinating. I've been to the airport in Paris. Hated every minute of it. Would never go again. I would go to the city, not the airport. So probably not going to go. But it looks beautiful in all the pictures that I've seen and the videos and the documentaries and things. So a brief description says the Musée du Louvre contains sculptures, ancient and modern, engravings, pictures, antiquities, medieval, Renaissance, and modern art objects, drawings, and special exhibitions. So the Louvre collections are open gratis to the public daily from 9 to 5 p.m., except Mondays and certain holidays. So you guys have no problem, I don't think. January 11th is a midweek, isn't it? I think the 9th was a Sunday. So I think this is Tuesday.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, you get in easily. It's probably Based on the way your normal sleep schedule, I would say this is probably getting on toward around lunchtime that you arrive at the Louvre. And yeah, you look around. Is there anything in particular you want to see, or you just kind of sightseeing and meandering through and seeing what catches your eye?
I'm gonna spend the time with. I'm just gonna do this constantly with Chloe, trying to see if there's anything occult.
You mean Cleo?
Yes, Cleo.
Don't add an NPC I'm not prepared for, Matthew.
Well, you do. Just for the record, you do remember that I brought Olivia with me, right? I
do.
I am not.
Your
putting
handmaid,
my own
right?
shoes on. That is out of the question.
I wouldn't dream of it.
I'm gonna spend the time with Cleo, kind of looking for things that might tie into the occult or have symbology that would make symbolism that have symbolism that would kind of tie into that, if anything. I don't know what all's there, honestly. I've never been to
the Louvre?
Mainland Europe.
I will say that you do find some things, and what is Cleo's familiarity with, like, what kind of art did I say was here? Medieval, Renaissance, and modern art? None? Or does she have a passing interest, or?
I mean, I don't have it on my sheet really as
fine.
anything. You know, she has interest in like anthropology, and you know, obviously objects that surround the occult and stuff like that. So it's like, if there's anything there that harkens back to like ancient rituals, you know, like ancient religions, or, you know, pagans.
This is where my
of the time.
This is where my husband would be invaluable, as he took like some, you know, really solid art history classes during his higher education. But I'm going to say that, yeah, as you go through, you do see some stuff that you could feasibly kind of point out something that's like, well, you know, I don't know if this was the author's or the artist's intent, but this here kind of is reminiscent of this practice of this people in, you know, and so you kind of both bond a little bit over sharing a little knowledge and asking questions about things. I'm sure Emily and Kelsey, you could partake in that to some degree if you wanted to. But yeah, it's you spend the day kind of, it's beautiful. You're taken aback by some of the artifacts. You don't see anything, like if you were to look up or try to look up any information just in the what little like directory there might be, you don't really see anything coming out of Turkey or Constantinople in the periods of time that you have been kind of studying. So nothing really about the simulacrum or anything even associated with it, you know. If you go into a room that's got scrolls and manuscripts, nothing particularly arcane, you know, jumps out at you. But I will say, you do, after as you have, the four of you have gone through the gallery, you do find one gallery that contains paintings from the court of Louis the 16th. As you're there, this is beautiful art pieces. There's little snippets of history to kind of explain who people are in these portraits, and the crowds kind of pass on, and the four of you don't even realize it, but you're kind of alone in this room. And I need a listen roll, please.
Nope.
Hard success.
What is my
I
lesson?
take it Sean didn't hear anything.
Not only did I not hear anything, but remember, I get to roll with advantage on any listen checks.
Do you? I didn't know you had that too.
Yeah. Oh, no, spot hidden. But I failed it. I rolled it wrong. Sorry.
Okay. No, that's fine.
Yeah, I failed it. I actually, I rolled a critical failure. I rolled 100 on my listen.
Okay, well, I'm going to say, because you were actually thinking you were rolling on your thing, I'm not going to take that.
Oh, okay.
It's just going to be a failure. I don't have a reason for, like, you to go deaf in the Louvre.
You're like, these paintings.
They're so loud. I hear colors.
I have a regular success on the nose, 68.
Okay, fantastic. You speak about hearing colors. My mother-in-law claims that she can do that. It's there is a form of is it dyslexia that does that? You can
No, it's got
hear
a different. It's a different.
Synesthesia, something.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
It's fascinating. I think that would be neat. But also unsettling, probably.
Yeah, especially if like yellow tasted horrible or sounded bad, and every time you saw yellow, it just ruined your day.
There's a character in Mass Effect that talks about hearing, like, songs. They communicate through music and harmonics, and like, oh, they are a sour yellow or something like that. It's really interesting talking about descriptions of people. Anyway, those of you that did succeed on the listen check, you hear a kind of scornful laugh. Not loud, but you are confident that you heard something kind of snort derisively.
From where?
Well, when you succeeding on that roll, you pinpoint the sound as coming from a corner of the gallery, and hanging on the wall there is a striking sketch of a man with a disdainful expression. His lips are set in a sneer, and his eyes stare into the investigators almost as if they can see you.
God, I was like, are we hearing a painting?
Yeah, the painting is literally entitled, simply entitled, "Sketch for an Unknown Painting, 18th Century, found amongst the possessions of Queen Marie." But yeah, that's. I mean, you look at it now. It is in such a way that you are not to touch it. You cannot touch it. Or you should not touch it. I guess you could if you really wanted to. But obviously, the eyes are not actually. Yeah, the eyes are not actually moving or anything like that. It is sketched with such detail, and the look on the face is very intense, and it does feel almost as if it's seeing you. But of course, there's nothing around it. You don't hear the laugh again. It just it's unexplainable.
The acoustics in this place leave much to be desired.
Can Cleo do like a medium roll just to see if there's anything funky about it?
Sure.
Funkier than creepily staring at me and maybe being like,
hopefully that's not the laugh.
It's a portrait of a Frenchman. Of course it's gonna sneer at us.
Was Queen Marie the one that had the the Count Finlick arrested?
Perhaps.
Ooh, okay.
Yes.
I thought it was, but I don't have that note in front of me. But yeah, I think it is. Yeah. What'd you get on that medium roll?
That's a hard success on the nose.
On the nose. Well, as you look at this painting and you reach out with the ability that you have, honestly, you don't sense a whole lot. You're in a place that is commonly housing lots of people from many different walks of life, so you do kind of sense that. But as far as something spiritual, there's something very intense around this painting. You don't feel that there's anything like attached to it, or like there's not like a spirit around it.
Mm-hmm.
But it is, if you could perhaps catch a glimpse of like an aura or something around it, there is something very unsettling about the subject of the painting. But again, the placard does not give you any information on that. You could possibly try to find more information on that, but it's just a very sneery man, and you're not sure where that laugh came from, and not seeing anything, not feeling anything or sensing anything spiritual or occult in that area. You probably feel like Emily's got the right of it. There's somebody laughed somewhere, and it caught in the corner and just drew your eye to it. But
wait, we're thinking that the painting laughed. I mean, there was a ghost train, so I guess the painting could laugh.
I mean, she didn't say that out loud. I was telling her that. But did you guys mention that you heard a laugh, or did you just go looking?
Assumed that we were chatting too.
Never assume American. American. Never
Emily
assume.
is like always on alert just because of the incidents of the recent weeks. So she probably looked around, didn't see anyone, and assumed it was acoustics, and just
I
left it
won't
at
be
that.
flayed today.
Leo probably didn't say anything, not because she didn't want them to know, but probably because she heard it, looked over, saw this weird fucking painting, and like moved towards it.
And like I said, you do something about it is triggering something, but even with a hard
Yeah.
success, there's nothing specific, tangible here that you could really latch onto.
Yeah,
but
it's sort of like,
something
is it weird or is this just a weird painting that like as an art piece makes me feel uncomfortable because it's
yeah,
weird.
it's definitely different from the things around it.
Yeah.
I'll fall. I would have probably followed her over there. Just I assumed she saw something of
Sure.
interest. When I see the painting, does it fit with the French style of the time frame it says?
It does, but it definitely has an unfinished feel to it. Like, again, the plaque calls it a sketch for an unknown painting, and then it's also described as a painting, but it almost looks like it was started but not quite finished, but the details are still very much there.
I assume this is Marie Antoinette, right? That's that Marie.
Okay. In fact, I know nothing about
So
world history.
Marie
But
Antoinette
yes, I know who Marie Antoinette is. But would that time period match for her?
So
I assume.
Marie Antoinette is
Louis
who I
XVI?
assume ended Comte Fidelic's debauchery, because it says late 1800s. She was the queen during the Revolution.
Then yep.
So,
yes, I knew
this
that.
is probably
yes.
from her collection.
It's at least so.
You know what, that tracks that she has like
Yeah,
this
this
weird
was found
painting.
amongst the possessions of Queen Marie. So yes, this was something. So the way that I kind of envision it is that during court, there was probably someone there that, whether she had hired them or it was just someone who asked to paint, and was painting people that were members of the court. You know, doing portraits and things like that. And this was someone who was a member of the court, but for some reason this painting didn't really get the same attention.
Quietly to Cleo. I want to keep calling you Chloe. I don't know why. To Cleo, and I not to keep it from Kelsey or Emily. But I don't want the other museum patrons thinking we're all nut jobs. I'll say.
You hear that painting speak?
I'll say. According to the notes here, this would have been from the same. This would have been from the collection of the same queen that shut down Fenelic and his parties. Do you see anything? Why did you come over to this painting or this drawing?
Well, I heard a weird kind of a snicker laugh thing come from this direction, and I turned and I saw this kind of weird painting that gives me a weird vibe, and just came over to look at it.
It is striking.
That's kind of all I got. It's like there's something weird and kind of intense, but it doesn't seem to be directly like attached to the painting. You know, it's not like I'm sensing that like someone's energy was like stuck in the painting or anything.
God, that would suck.
Do we know you have medium abilities? Like legit medium abilities?
I don't know if you've ever really talked about it.
She has. I mean, you've seen her do things. I think everyone at some point has experienced her like reaching out in some way to sense something, but she doesn't really talk about it.
I think in the pregame you talked about doing seances.
Yeah,
but not like the party seances, but like legit seances.
Yeah, like actual.
Yeah.
Do you often feel energy off of inanimate objects? Is that a thing that you do?
Mm-hmm.
Is that a learned thing from your mentor, or is that something
I mean, it can be taught. It's easier if it's something that you have. You know, there are people that can be taught to a small certain degree to kind of sense and feel and understand those things, especially if they learn a lot and kind of start to believe in these things. It can kind of open their eyes a little bit, but for me, it's just something I've always done since I was little. And my father and my mentor sort of nurtured it into something.
Interesting. I'm wondering how much of Fenelix's property ended up in the hands of the royalty at the time.
Yeah, I don't know.
If the queen shut down those parties, I think there's an implication there that there may have been property taken, and the queen was.
Yeah, I mean, we know that he had parts of a statue that were removed from his home that we kind of don't know where they went.
You do remember from even what Professor Smith told you, and what I believe one of your library use roles there at the end in the British Museum did in fact talk about very briefly that his manor was looted quite extensively.
Yeah.
I made the assumption, probably wrongly, that it was looted by looters as opposed to royal looters.
It may have been both.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The queen was also known for her expensive tastes, or her interest in things outside the norm.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm
and just a real sparkling personality, so I've heard.
Yes. The royalty can be like that sometimes. I'm wondering if this has some connection, at least even tangentially, to what we're looking for.
It could.
Yeah, just as a brief refresher on this, it said in the notes that Professor Smith, or that Beddoes jotted down when Professor Smith was giving you his rundown, was the statue was dismembered in Paris just prior to the French Revolution. Part of it may still be in France.
Mm-hmm.
The owner was a noble, Comte Fenelic.
Right, and then we know that those were removed from his home at some point, right?
Yes. So it was, I believe you found in that was not part of the notes, but I believe in your research, the Countess, I believe, found out that when the statue was found in the home, it was dismembered by looters and they carried parts of it. Like they were like, well, let's just split it, and so they.
What a great idea.
Yeah, and so now that's how you know that the statue used to be together, and then Professor Smith was like, you need to find all the pieces, put them back together, take it to Constantinople, and destroy it.
Mm-hmm. Well, she's Chloe. Now I'm doing it. Leo is gonna clock just the general kind of vibe that she got from the painting.
Sure.
She's sort of gonna tuck that away in case they come across something that gives her a similar experience. And then...
Sure. I was going to say that as y'all are kind of in this area, a member of the staff of the Louvre does approach you and just simply is like, are you enjoying your time at the museum?
Yes. Could you tell me more about this particular piece?
What did I could, monsieur? I am fascinated by this sketch, this painting, if you will, and I have searched and searched for any kind of information about it, but there's nothing. I don't know. This is as good as it gets, guys. I'm sorry.
No, I'm laughing because you called the Countess Monsieur.
Oh, I did, Mademoiselle. I forget.
That's okay.
Your beard throws me off, Matthew. Your beard throws me off.
That's what the whole point of beards, right?
Yeah. If only dwarves were real. We could all have awesome beards.
Forgive me. I am not. France is not my homeland, so my understanding of your history might be lacking. But it's my understanding that Queen Marie was, she liked things, oddities.
Oh, yeah, well, rich people, right? Nobility, royalty, they are a little weird, right?
Yes, we do. Do you know if was this something that perhaps she did, or was this more likely something she obtained from?
I'm not aware that she had any kind of artistic talent to speak of, but as with the other paintings that you see here of the members of her court, I believe that this was someone that found her favor for a time, and then for whatever reason, whoever was painting it, she told them to stop, and assumed kept the portrait. There's really no information about it. It was just found among her belongings.
Was there anything else found among her belongings that's
So
displayed
much,
here?
so much. And I'm sure he could show you many things, but like Her Highness's royal chamber pot and
Sure.
the bedspread, things like that. There's not. You laugh. I actually went to a place and like that was on high display was this noble's chamber pot because it has survived. I was like, okay.
Thank the gods.
Look at the fineness of the pottery and the
Sounds like
lovely
a
art
shitty
on it.
display.
It's got a lovely. Yeah, it's got a nice bas relief on the side of this shitter pot. But no, but yeah, he can show you some other things. Nothing else looks anything like this, or nor do you find another instance of this individual's face.
The face is male though, or is
It is. It is definitely a male, at least male presenting from as far as you can tell. It's in the current style, and he does look like he probably is a noble of some. Well, he was part of the court, so he would have to have some sort of title. Further, you don't, especially you, Cleo, you don't get any other that sense that you get around that sketch. You don't feel that around any of the other items that came from that era or that collection.
Tucking that away.
While he's showing us other things, towards what seems like the end of it, hopefully, I will mention there's another collector, has been sometime since before the revolution, a Comte Fenelick. Do you know if any of his work or his collection ended up here?
I feel as though I've heard that name, but I do not believe we have any of his belongings. Let me see. And do you know, was he a contemporary of the Queen, or?
Yes, I believe he was from an area near. And apologize, my French is not great. Poissy.
Poissy. Let us see. There might be a little information here, and he bustles you off to another area. It is getting late in the day. It's probably near close, but he searches briefly through some records, with the location and the name, and asks someone like an archivist who would know a little bit more than he would as a general kind of representative that interacts with the patrons and the customers and things. And he says, "Oh, well, there is a little information about Comte Fenelick. He was very high favored, and then he was not. And he was imprisoned for whatever. There was a bit of a scandal, I believe, but I read about it some years ago in at the Bibliothèque Nationale. There is a diary there that you might find very interesting that does speak a little bit on the Comte."
Interesting. Thank you very much. That's unfortunate to hear that none of his collection made it here, but that
Lutus, right?
It I think my countrymen know all about it. Austria
Yeah,
has taken its fair share.
I am sure there are several households along the French countryside that have belongings of great import to our history, but they have no idea what they have, and their children are probably pissing on it. It's tragic.
Well, thank you.
Have you seen Marie Antoinette's chamber pot?
If I were looking for something a little more, I attended a séance in London, and I found it interesting. If I was looking for something a little more esoteric like that, is there another museum that would have pieces similar or in that general area of interest?
I will be honest with you. I don't put a lot of stock in esoterica, as it
I
is.
don't find it true, but I find it interesting and a little fun.
Sure. I will not yuck your yum, as it is. I will not begrudge you what you find fun, but I do not know of any place. I mean, if you want the weird and the unsettling, I would definitely recommend the Catacombs.
Oh, Cleo definitely wants to go to the Catacombs.
You want to get a do you have a bow that you tell you it's a good place? I met my wife not at the Catacombs, but I took her there for our second date, and worked out very well for me.
I unfortunately
70 years now.
do not have a bow. 70 years. How old is this man?
I don't know.
Like 95.
102. I met her when I was 40. Guess. Do math. I am an archivist, not a mathematician.
Do you know of someone reputable that would be able to give us a good tour of the catacombs?
Well, I mean, they are not open very often, but the tour guide there is very, very good. Very good.
Excellent.
They usually first and third Saturday of the month. Sometimes, though, there are special occasions in which they do convene for a special tour. There might be one later this week.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. Adieu.
Adieu.
Au revoir.
I will lean over to Emily and say, donate something to the library, please. Or to the Louvre, please.
Did you say donate something?
Yeah, just like, I assume that Emily carries the checkbook. I just carry the cash, and I'm not just going to hand this guy cash. That seems rude.
Well, then your family donates to the trust.
Excellent. Thank you.
That is what the commoners donate into the bucket.
That's what those are for. Okay. That makes more sense.
It was like,
we expense this.
Nice. But yeah,
Tax write-offs.
Exactly. They know how to work. They know how to work all the numbers.
Chad is very excited about these catacombs. I'm concerned.
Oh.
Nothing can possibly go wrong in the catacombs.
Nothing.
No.
They're a wonderful place.
We will definitely not find like the gate to hell.
If we're gonna find anyone flayed, it'll be in the catacombs.
I mean,
many a skeleton will be there.
Right down. Yeah. Right. But yeah. So that was your day at the Louvre. I hope you all had a wonderful time. It was exhilarating for us all, I'm sure. But yeah, so that is day one in France. If you would like to, unless you have something you want to do that evening, in the morning, you could once again try the bibliothèque and see if your confirmation has come through.
I do want to do something that evening,
Okay.
But I want to do it alone.
Okay, well, keep that in mind. We'll go ahead and pause here for our break. It is 6:30 on the nose, just about. So let's go ahead and take 10 minutes. Chat, thank you so much for being with us. We will be back in 10 minutes for another hour and a half of wonderful adventure on the Horrors on the Orient Express. And again, I want to remind you, all Twitch subs, coffee donations, Streamlabs donations, and Twitch bits and all that stuff that come through during the show and on the channel until the 13th, which is next Sunday, unless we choose to extend it and all that. But until next Thursday or next Sunday, we will 100% goes to Ukrainian Red Cross relief. So if you are able, we would greatly appreciate it to attempt to do a little bit to help the people that are being displaced right now. as far as other things we have going on this month or this week, we have Star Trek Adventures tomorrow night, which will be run by Matt, I believe, this week, right?
This week is the Telemara, and it's going to be a deep dive into some Star Trek Next Generation lore. So check out that. That'll be fun.
Cool.
So that's our Star Trek Adventures actual play, The Voyages Of, at 7 p.m. Eastern tomorrow night. And I think that's the penultimate episode of the season, right? Is the season
Yes, it is.
wrapping up next week? And then on Tuesday, we have Chapter 8 of By Leaps and Bounties, our 7th Sea 2nd Edition playthrough, where we play swashbucklers and noblesses and sailors.
We're going to be fine this week.
It's going to be fine.
We're going to be fine.
One of our players entered into a death tournament, and two of them or one of them is watching, and another one is breaking into the house of the person holding the death tournament, and the other one is meeting with a pirate captain who wants a thing that won't come off her body. So it's all very fun and exciting.
Everything's fine.
Nobody picks stupid things to do and makes really bad rolls. So it'll be exciting. And then Thursday we are back to Throwing Shadows at 7 p.m. Oh wait, Pirates and By Leaps and Bounties is at 8 p.m. on Tuesday. Thursday at 7 p.m. we have Ninja Crusade 2nd Edition, Growing Shadows, with our 90s anime teen ninjas. And I think that rounds us out this week. So yeah, 10 minutes, we'll be back. Pick up, drop off. Join us. Don't go anywhere. We love you guys. Be right back. Hello, and welcome back to Horror on the Orient Express. I was just trying to eat pizza really fast, and I think I got cheese in my mouth still. So, I'm just going to talk like this if that's okay for a second. But yeah, thank you so much for waiting through the break and for rejoining us here after the break. I gave you all my announcements beforehand. I don't think there's anything major to announce. I do think I want to thank you guys for being so active tonight. I heard on break that chat has been just all over the place, and I really appreciate that. And we've gotten a new Discord member and all kinds of things. So thank you so much
Awesome.
for joining with us and hanging out with us. And we hope that you find our little corner of the internet to be a welcoming and safe place for you to play games and meet new people and all that. So thank you so much. We returned to our party with the Countess wanting to do something by herself.
Like after the Louvre, I assume we head back to the manor. I'm not going to make a big deal out of it, but I am going to plan to go back into the city to go to a nice dinner so that I can be seen by society.
Oh, okay.
If that makes sense. But also, like, I'm not taking the Americans. If Emily insists on going, that's in a whole thing, but, like, I'm not taking the Americans.
Of course.
I would prefer to go, Fraulein.
She is.
I understand.
Right?
Yes, your father would not like it if I let you go alone.
So, not impolitely because I don't want to make the Americans feel bad, but I'm also just not gonna invite them.
Oh no, I would prefer not to go.
I assume so. I assume neither one of you wants to go, but also, I don't want to leave a chance where you'll say yes. I do want to go, and then I'm gonna have to be like, oh,
no. Sure. So you spend an evening on the town. Go ahead and give me. You find a. I should pull up my copy of the map. You find a lovely dining establishment. In fact, you ask the help at the manor to if they can recommend a place and perhaps call and get reservations for you. You and Miss Brown, right?
I'll let the help eat with me, sure.
Oh, you're miserable. But yeah, you they make reservations for you. I'm looking to see if there's a name of one on the. We'll just say that there is a lovely restaurant in the Bristol Hotel that you. And the Bristol is. Let's see, where is it on this map?
I'm not seeing it on the map.
It's number 7 on the map, so it's not too far. It's a street over from the Champs-Élysées, and it's lovely. You see a lot of people there. You're not up on the nobility here that much, but go ahead and give me a credit rating.
That's a success.
Okay, just a regular success.
Yeah.
While you're there, you are approached by a few other of the society folk that are gathered there. Whether you engage them in conversation first or whether they find you, whether on the dance floor or wherever, you do talk a little bit. They are familiar with your family name, but don't know anybody. Like, they don't know your cousin. I do think your cousin's a little older anyway. So
sure.
This is the society crowd that's more your age. This is the Hip Kid Club, and but yeah, you make a decent impression. If you were to continue to do this every so often and have more successful, you get the impression that if you flashed a little bit more money here and there and maybe changed your outfit every time you were there and a new accessory or something and followed the latest trends, that you could probably infiltrate this vapid
I asked my father's business associate to set up stuff at the bibliothèque, so I didn't want to not be seen.
Sure.
Like, you can't just come to Paris and not do this. There would be questions.
Absolutely. Yeah. What's wrong with them? Why don't they come out and hang out with us? But yeah, so you have a good night. You do make a few connections. all of them are definitely more society style connections. You do not get the feel off of any of them that they are interested in much else besides themselves and the latest trends and how they can get money. They complain a lot about the war and how it's affecting certain things and getting certain things out of and you actually being Austrian, that getting a success on that credit rating was very important because
Sure,
they
sure.
do, you know, unsure of necessarily your allegiances regarding Germany and things like that. So
Yeah. I would also drop the name Fenalik just to see if there's any recognition, just in passing. Like, I heard that they had a great art collection, and I was curious if anyone knew where parts of that might be.
the individuals that you get to speak to, they are not familiar with the name, and they actually spend more time trying to make weird puns off of Phenolic, off the name Phenolic,
Sure.
than they're like, oh, when where do they live? And if you
It's an old family from before the revolution.
well, there's none of them anymore, so they are, they it's old, they don't care.
Sure.
It's like the only old that they cared about is the blood that gets them their money. So, there it is. At this particular establishment, the ones that you have run into seem to be pretty shallow,
Sure.
and have no problem with it. They know it and they're fine with it.
Would their chaperones know anymore? Because I'm assuming Emily's just going to leave Johanna to, mingle with people her own age. But I'm
Sure.
assuming there's a chaperones corner where everybody just kind of sits and grumbles about their young charges and how wasteful they are.
Oh, sure. Let's see. What kind of role can I have you give? Just like, is there just a what is
Amir
the
Nugget
is there?
suggests that it's Le Mean Girls is what we're dealing with.
Lamine, I don't know how to say.
So, sort of jokingly,
girls in French.
wouldn't the chaperones roll for sanity and they're complaining of their charges?
Yeah, probably. What's your luck roll?
It's mostly psychology now.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
not bad.
That's not a bad.
Yeah.
Where
that's
they
not
all just like take turns and talk about the weird things that their charges have done and they have to deal with.
Yeah, there's
A
some
therapy
there.
corner.
Yeah, it's at Mommy's day out when Mommy gets to talk to more adults and not children. That's the corner you're at, and it's like, oh, yeah. Some of them are complaining about them. Many of the same issues with them that Johanna is being met with out there as she socializes. It's a lot of that's so stupid. Like why why. No, they have too much money, then they know what to do with. They just throw it around.
No appreciation for the finest things.
Not at all. They take them for granted. Like this young man, his father has this beautiful collection of like different artifacts and like vases and things from like Egypt and the Mediterranean and this one, and she's like starts to get loud and then lowers her voice and she's like, this one is over there doing like using it to throw a ball into. He was playing cricket in the house last week and took out an entire collection. And then who gets in trouble? What? What does our parents think? That we sit here and just go, please destroy everything? Yes. I am paid enough. I am not paid enough.
I'm fortunate. At least mine likes to collect things.
Oh,
And then destroy things.
Another one is like, what does I like to collect? Because this little motherfucker over here, he likes to collect.
Oh, well, I have heard that some like to collect esoteric pornography. Fortunately,
That would be an
Minus-
upgrade from this man. He goes on about whatever obscure, collection that this person thinks is absolutely like they're collecting he collects these little cartoon books. They have little drawings in them and they tell these serious stories and it's what? Why? What is that ever going to do for
What is wrong with regular books?
Yeah, why do you need so many pictures? Our books did not have pictures when I was a child. And so there's
and complaining onwards. But Emily
Yeah.
would like to broach the occasional subject of if they've heard anything about this Count Fenelic, whatever.
Yeah,
As they are older and might have.
Sure. Give me, just for grins, give me an intelligence roll.
Hard success.
Hard success. Beautiful. Okay. You as you're talking, you hear one of them mention that they are from the northwest, from a area called Poissy, and you're like, oh, I have heard of in
This
some of
Count that was there at one point, and I heard he was quite a collector himself until,
oh
the
you
revolution.
speak of the Comte Fenelic, yes.
That's the one, yeah.
Scandalous, that one. I tell you, he used to throw if legend, and he was a man of myth, if you can believe it. But the stories say that he threw the most revelrous and debaucherous parties. Uh, these kids think they have something, with all their sex and their drugs and whatever, but they have nothing on the Comte Fenelic. Things that you would dare not speak of. And someone else leans in conspiratorially, and they're like, it's you talk about esoteric erotica. Yes, take that but to the next level, and probably a little gross as well. Comte Fenelic is well known in that area to have been quite a man, and so and allegedly Queen Marie and the Comte had relations, perhaps. That's why they believe that maybe it's soured, and she had him imprisoned, and he thought he would. He thought he would get away with it because he's Comte Fenelic. He had something on everybody, but no, he never got out of prison. He was actually put in an asylum for a time. Yeah.
Fascinating.
The Keratin Asylum is what they say. Is that it's here in Paris? But yeah, his house was completely kind of razed to the ground. Looters and everyone, they just took his belongings. That's what they say. I've heard tell of some people, perhaps out in Lausanne, that have some of his things. It's one of those things. Like, everybody knows somebody that has something from his house, but there's no verifying any of it.
A piece of the legend is probably very interesting for everyone.
Yeah, so it's just it's you never know, but it's fascinating. Are you interested in such things, or you?
No,
your charge?
the Fraulein, my charge is just very interested in
Really?
weird things like that.
Like,
At that
things,
age.
children. Why? Like,
Who knows?
they should not be interested in such weird sex things. I mean, it's just strange.
As long as they're just reading about it and not practicing, is all that matters.
Well, if yours isn't practicing, you at least don't have to worry about that. Do you know how many illegitimate children I have to make sure that the parents do not find about? It's ugh. So anyway, it goes on, but yeah. So that's the one from the area has some, but again,
so much tea.
Yeah, it feels a little like it's been embellished a little bit. Did Queen Marie have relations with Comfort? Like, no one knows really, but why else would she have suddenly? Why would he have fallen so quickly out of favor? Or maybe she liked him, and then he got with her sister or something. Just weird. But yeah, so that's the information you find out on your evening out.
The name of the asylum, what was that again?
Keratin Asylum?
Keratin.
Okay. And then, did they mention a family name of who had stuff?
They did not.
Okay.
It's like, the urban legend problem where it's like, well, my cousin's best friend's babysitter said that one time.
Oh yeah. I just wanted to make sure I didn't miss that particular name.
No names. So you return to the State House?
Well,
Yeah, after
about 20 minutes after they left, Kelsey slipped out of the house dressed primarily in black with a gray trench coat on.
Not at all suspicious.
No, not
Where
at all.
would you like to go, Monsieur Haskins?
I don't. I rolled an idea roll just to see how dumb it was
Okay.
going to be. I got an extreme success.
Okay.
I'm going to go case the Louvre.
Oh my
no,
God.
no. Don't you take what chat suggested and make bad choices.
Oh no,
There
this
are
is even
plenty
worse choice.
Chat.
There's
this is
so
even-
many places you can loot besides the Louvre.
No, there's actually, because of the interest it was shown, I'm going after the drawing.
Oh no.
Okay. Okay.
Little less security than going after the
God.
Mona Lisa. Sorry, chat, not stealing it. It's already been stolen in 1911. It's behind a giant piece of glass now.
Okay.
But this
I
doodle of a
looked it
laughing
up.
man.
With this guy who may or may not be the Count.
Exactly. You guys showed interest in it. I rolled an extreme success and an idea roll privately. It's dumb. Let's do it.
This is just what we need, a freaky sex cultist painting that may or may not be weird.
I was not expecting anybody to describe him as a freaky sex cultist, but
And honestly, I was fighting myself on it because I don't want to derail the campaign, but the extreme success, I have to. It's fate.
okay.
Oh, no, you're good.
Okay.
Derail.
Yeah. So now the Louvre's closed.
Right.
You
And
cannot get into it, but you want to just
I would have spent my time there casing it, looking where the guard posts are, where security would be most prominent, things like that.
I want to see how successful you were. Go ahead and give me a spot hidden.
Okay. Let me find a good one because. That's an 11. That is.
You know their names, you know their birth dates, you know their children's names, where they go to school, you know way too much to be a simple locksmith. But yeah, so you did kind of take note of that. You took note of like the uniforms they wear, how they
possible
carry themselves.
patterns, yeah.
Mm-hmm. You took, like any good video game, you memorized the loops that they make, and you could even visualize in your mind palace as you're watching this. You see this cone of light that like tells you where their eye line is, and you're like, okay, I know exactly when and where they can see me and how far, like at which point, and you're like, I bet if I just crouch right now, they won't see a goddamn thing. And so as you're walking around you're in the area of the Louvre.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
gonna look for like a service entrance.
You look like a tourist admiring the architecture.
Yeah.
Paris is a beautiful city of beautiful construction and architecture. So you're taking in some of that.
Mm-hmm.
You kind of look for ways and maybe side doors or other entrances, other ways that you might be able to slip in, or if there's like a loading door.
Service entrance, like someone that like the staff goes in and out of.
Sure.
For work.
I am going to. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, maybe like like an access point that the cleaning staff comes in and out of to ditch garbage, to take breaks, to smoke, whatever, something like that.
I'm going to have you give me one roll.
Mm-hmm.
For stealth.
Okay. Okay, not bad. It's a regular success. 75.
Give me a listen roll too.
Seriously, that's another 11.
Okay, well, you're fine.
Yeah, that's an 11. That's an extreme success.
Okay. So, as you're kind of walking around, you're doing very good at keeping out of eye line of people, or at least out of sight in the shadows against other buildings and things like that. As you're walking around, you do see some groups of people as you're walking around. You see kind of groups gathering of agitated individuals. As we talked about before, the news is there's a lot of tension in the people, and you overhear and kind of see what may be an early protest, or at least people who might eventually protest, starting to get riled up in the streets, and you hear, uh, the approach of police calling out to try to break up and head off at the pass a conflict or any kind of gathering that they don't really particularly want to deal with at this time. So there are police around, and you see them, and you hear them coming. They are not focused on you.
Right.
You're able to kind of slip in down the side of the building and find a way to gain egress into the Louvre. And there is no alarms at this time.
Is the door locked?
It is. Go ahead and give me a locksmith.
I mean, I knew there wouldn't be alarms, but I would figure they would at least lock the doors. Ouch! Sorry, guys, that was loud. 59. That's a regular success.
Easy enough. You are able to unlock it. The door, and you.
Don't be suspicious. Don't be suspicious.
Yeah.
Oh, baby.
Do not sing that on the way in. Someone might
No.
hear it. No. I'm going to recommend that. I'm going to say that you probably ditched your jacket outside.
Yeah, I would have found like a garbage can or whatever, kind of folded it up, kind of stuck it
Just
behind it.
tucked it.
Yeah.
So now you're completely in black.
Yes. Black turtleneck, black slacks. There's nothing shiny on me, so
Okay.
I wasn't sure what the footwear would be in the 20s for sneaking. So they are dress shoes, but they've been scuffed
I'm
up.
sure
So
there's
they're
something
dull.
with like a rubber sole.
Yeah.
I would think there would be something with a softer sole than just a normal dress shoe.
Right.
So for the sake of it, I will say that you can pad your way in to the Louvre, and I mean you could be like the barefoot bandit and just like take your shoes off before you go in, and you're sock footing it all over the Louvre. But that's disrespectful. That would be disrespectful and uncultured to not only break into the Louvre but take off your shoes.
Yeah, I mean,
What? So, and I'm going to say, based on your idea rolls and all this that's gone on, that the entrance that you actually found is actually not far from the gallery that you saw that art in earlier, because you're going after the sketch, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So you noticed this door as your companions were investigating this painting and talking to the other man, and he was completely distracted, noticed nothing. So yes, you've gained egress. You're in the Louvre, and you dip and dodge your way around. Go ahead and give me one more stealth roll now that you're inside. I'm ashamed of you, chat, for putting him up to this.
It was Revna. It's all Revna's fault.
We're going for stealth again?
I thought we were forming a friendship.
It is a 74. Oh, come on. You guys knew I was going to steal something sometime.
No, that's fine. That's fine.
It's 74, so regular success.
You've already stolen something. This is 2.
Yeah, but that was for business. This is for
that didn't
pleasure.
count. Nobody saw it.
This is pleasure.
This is pleasure.
This is
I'm on vacation.
This is for the campaign. No, anyway.
Yeah. So you easily there might be a moment where you're like somebody made a turn and but they were like and they say something in French and they spin on their heel and walk out. It's like they forgot their keys or something. And you make it over into the corner and give me a listen check.
Okay. These have been rolling good.
Shouldn't have said that.
It's still, I mean, it's a listen. I just lost track of my listen. It's a hard success at a 36.
Okay. Yeah.
Don't make me shoot a guard.
No, you hear no, you hear a strange, what feels like a derisive laugh. Very quiet,
Kind
Um,
of creepy. Kind of like
it
look
doesn't
around like.
echo like in the room. It's kind of strange. Like if it had come from a guard, you would expect it to kind of have that larger room sound to it, you know.
Right.
But you shrug it off. You don't see, you look around. You don't see anybody. Go and give me a spot hidden just to see if you do see anybody.
Okay. That is. I gotta stop using this black dice. It is hard to see. That is a 46. So that's a hard success. Where's my spot hidden? You think I know by now? Yeah. Spent 1 point for a hard success of luck.
Okay, yeah. You look around. There is nobody over here.
Cool.
There's no action over here. This is not necessarily where like there's cool stuff over here, and it is important, and they obviously do want to protect it, and they are protecting it, but it's not like a high profile item. Especially what you're going after.
Right. I'm gonna walk
This
up
one's
to it.
off in a corner.
Right. You kind of. It's a historical curiosity, not a major work of art.
Exactly.
Okay.
So
I'm gonna walk up to the painting, or sorry, drawing sketch,
Mhm.
and I'm looking at it, and I remember what Cleo has been telling us, and I pull on a pair of black cotton gloves,
nice.
and
Nice.
I'm going to reach into my pocket, open up my toolkit. I'm going to take a scalpel out, and I'm going to cut it out of its frame.
Surgical precision. Very nice. Go ahead and give me a dexterity roll.
Regular success.
That works. You are able to do so. You run that scalpel right along the edge of the frame that it's been put in. It's not like stretched or anything, but it's just, and you're able to take it out.
Sorry, when you said sketch, I figured it was like on some kind of vellum, or is it canvas sketch?
We're gonna say it's on like a vellum. It wasn't on a stretched canvas. It was
Okay.
like it was a sketch with maybe a little paint on it, but it wasn't.
And how like
It was that's why it was weird. It's not nearly as big as some of the large like full scale portraits. We're talking maybe like a 12 by 19.
Okay, so I'm gonna roll it up
Mhm.
and stick it into like a map case.
Did you?
Yeah, I've
I'm
got a
gonna
map
make
case
you.
with me.
Okay,
I mean, I'll roll it, but I mean, I came prepared to steal this, and
that's
I
right.
need a
To
way to
steal this thing.
transport.
Okay,
Yeah,
I'm gonna say that you're good. Yeah. So you have like a map tube
yeah,
with you, and you slip it into that.
which fits the whole tourist thing. Got to have a map to walk around Paris.
You're right. You're right. So you have that.
Mhm.
You have now captured the
Captured.
the art. Go
Flag?
ahead, just because I can, roll me a pow check.
Okay, so I get strong-willed, so I get a bonus die when rolling for a POW check.
Nice. Good choice. Is that something that you added
We
today
got-
in Europe?
No, that's we got the 2 talents. That's always been my 2 talents. I just haven't had a
okay.
chance to use POW yet.
Okay, that's why it's new to me. I haven't
That was
power damage on him.
that was a bit metagaming when we were creating the characters. I got so hit by POWs the first game.
Oh, at the lighthouse?
No, Master Nerothotep.
Oh yeah.
Uh,
Those guys were constantly fucking with our brains.
yeah. I failed it.
Okay.
95, even with
I'm just gonna
advantage.
say you get the frisson. You get the little goosebumps down
The
the back of your neck,
heebie-jeebies?
like the hair stands on end, and it's like, and it's a leftover from like as you were like cutting it out, and you're kind of leaning up into the face
Mhm.
of this, and it felt like the eyes were just boring into your soul, and you're like, I don't like that, and it gives you the willies, and
The willies.
you roll it up, you pop it in the case, and then you shake it off, and go ahead and give me one more stealth check to get back to the door.
Because not running, because that's obvious. Just a casual walk out with an 11.
Oh my god, out of here!
That's
Yeah, let's start
yeah.
calling you 11.
Right.
You want some waffles over there? 11.
No joke.
Is that what you
Egos, please. And that's an extreme success
want? Okay.
for stealth. Yeah.
Then yeah. So you are able to dodge every guard. In fact, you're like do people even work here after hours? And like, you see no.
Maybe I should leave my business card right up now.
Yeah. Bombali, yeah, you. Bombali Security Services. No, so you make it back out the door and back out into the side entrance, back to your coat, which I assume you don, and maybe cover up that map case just in case.
No, not covering up the map case. I'm a tourist.
Okay, it's at night, you know.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm gonna say with that extreme success and the number of extreme successes you've rolled in this event, that yeah, you make it back to, and you find a cab that will take you back to Saint Denis.
When I get back to the house, if I'm there before the Countess and Miss Brandt get back, I will just pop the tube and leave the drawing in a on the table where we would have breakfast.
Just right out in the open.
Yep.
Out there.
Yep.
I figured you're gonna go find Cleo and go like, "Hey, look, I got you that thing you really liked. I saw you looking at it real hard at the museum. I thought you might like it."
Why is all of our staff crazy?
Yeah, because I'm still, they don't need to know that I'm that good.
Okay.
I just showed up. Let's use that to spur.
Where else is it going to come from?
Yes, I'm sure everyone's going to be like, where? How?
Yeah, they're all like,
we're going to have to double check the security. Everything's just awful.
A ghost train showed up. In my mind,
this is
100% plausible that a painting would just show up that we showed interest in.
Is it on skin?
Ooh.
Right.
See, the thing that is, I should have just let it go, and like when you all show up and you realize it's there, be like, what the hell? I thought, are the Brothers of the Skin now giving us art? What the fuck is that? like what? Where did this come from? And Kelsey's just like, I'm a shit-eating grin over here.
Yeah. Oh my god, it showed up.
And you just slightly slide your map case and scalpel out of frame. Okay, well, yeah. So now you guys have a wonderful new piece of art
in the morning,
and
when everybody comes home, or in the morning. Yeah.
Cleo, was there anything you wanted to do, or are you just chilling out, enjoying the luxuries of a state house? And
no, I mean, she would have tried to get information on when they could go to the catacombs.
Okay, yeah. If you talk to the staff, the staff kind of repeat. They're like, usually it's the first and third Saturday of every month, but it is not hard to get the. If you grease a palm here or there, they could convene a special tour and let your group in. It's not unheard of. Sometimes, if there's a special event in the city, they will offer like a special tour on one of the off days, but it's not hard to get in there.
Ooh.
And they
and then she probably.
Oh, go ahead.
No, I mean, and then she might have taken a walk around, and then gone and like done some reading. She probably would have transcribed that paragraph that she told the Countess she would transcribe. She probably would have picked like the most innocuous one that she could find.
Okay, awesome. Fantastic. Yeah, and so you continue doing that. You're not gonna, for transcribing that, you've already gained your Cthulhu mythos and lost your sanity and stuff, so there's nothing there that's gonna change. I'm not even gonna really make you roll for it because you've already done it once. So that's the easiest part of the evening. Is you're like
just chilling.
Yeah, you kind of get a lay of the land. It's a beautiful home and it's a beautiful like area that it's in. There's a nice like pond and stuff and like a little water feature, a little water fountain and waterfall, and
like sitting by this beautiful pond, like writing Cthulhu.
You glance up, you see Kelsey tiptoeing his way down the path.
All I see is like high knees, you're like crouched over and dancing around. Yeah, it's like Spy versus Spy.
She's
shit,
like, I can see you, and I'm not even that person.
How good does he think he is that he thinks he can just walk out like that? But
your coat is gray, sir.
Yeah, the moonlight is glistening off this wonderful gray fabric. But yeah, once you all reconvene at the house, do you want to discuss anything this night, or would you like to the morning?
I would assume that by the time the dinner's done and I've spent my time talking to people that are more inane than I am, I'm drunk.
Okay.
So probably straight to bed.
Emily's like, let me carry you to bed. Or at least weekend at Bernie's you up the stairs. Gotta do what you gotta
Get
do.
her into bed, and then start the morning as usual.
All right.
Coffee and a newspaper.
Then the morning comes, and you all get to. I should no Smash Mouth on this stream. I'm sorry.
So that makes it the morning of the 12th?
Yes.
Wednesday.
Cool.
Wednesday. The paper, the headlines today, if you can either, again, I'm not going to pronounce these right. There is a German paper that I will say that you can get a hold of, or you're getting the either Le Figaro, Le Parisien, or the Tribune, which is an English language paper in France.
All of them, please.
I want all the papers. January 11th, headline: A New World War? French and Belgian troops occupy the Ruhr. And then also Death of a Destitute King. Constantine I, ex-king of Greece, A Life of Exile in Palermo. So there's a couple worldwide political headlines to which you are free to look up on your own time. We're not going to read about either of those. But that's what's happening in the world at large as you prepare to get on a train to take you through this continent. There's still a lot of tensions and aggression and shit's going on. The world does not stop for the Sedefkash Simulacrum. But yeah, so coffee and the paper. You all come to consciousness. You wake on your own time. Go ahead and just for grins, Emily, give me a spot hidden.
It's a success, regular success.
As you come down the stairs, and the staff has already made a cup of coffee for you because I'm sure you have told them what your morning routine is like. They have the papers waiting on a silver charger. They have, yes, Miss Brandt. And you see some people going, there's a spirited conversation happening in French, and one of the main help, like the main butler is like, where did this come from? This, what is then like? I do not know. There's like a younger like page boy, and they're holding like he's like slapping this painting. He's holding up this loose painting, and he's just like slapping it with the bag. What is this? Why is it here? Where did this come from? Did you take this out of a frame? There should be
Please
frame.
put that down. Actually, I would not recommend touching it. Nice now.
Excuse me.
The French accent. Here we are.
This is. I'm sorry, this is no concern of yours. I do not know where this painting came from. I've never seen it before in my life. This boy just tells me it's just here, and I don't know who's playing some stupid trick on us, but we would not. Mr. Norbert would never put this here. This is ugly. This does not go.
This does not go.
I'll come down probably right at that time. And
this does not belong here.
Miss Brandt said put it down, so maybe put it down. She's smart, knows
Mademoiselle,
what's good for. Can I get some coffee?
Do you... Of course.
And maybe can we, lower the lights a little bit and maybe not yell so much.
Mademoiselle, this is the sun. It cannot make it softer. This room,
we have curtains.
This is the morning room. This is the room where you greet the morning. If you would like it to not be the room where you greet the morning in the study.
I'm pretty sure I could still fire
the French.
her. Emily, can I fire her?
Yes. Well, I don't know if you have that.
If you get coffee, maybe the morning room will be greeted correctly. I don't see coffee.
the butler sends off the page boy, and he's like, "You cannot fire me, and I am not a woman."
Oh.
Sir, how dare you?
It was
Madam, how
The
dare you?
lack of beard was confusing.
Yeah. Do you like it? Do you like it when I do it to you?
Cleo
You get
comes
some of
down,
the-
and as the page boy returns with Cleo comes down, and she like hears the end of this, and so she opens her desk, and as soon as she has the coffee, she dumps a bunch of whiskey into the Countess's coffee, and she's like, "Here."
Yeah, hair of the
perfect.
dog.
Just the way I like it.
Yeah. So yeah, someone gets you coffee. The butler that is up in arms with how ugly this sketch is like, "Ugh, fine," and he lays it out on the table where it had presumably been before.
I'm going to need records of everybody coming and going into the premises since last evening.
No one
But-
has come and gone except for you and the Countess.
About that time, I come
Oh
down the
no,
stairs.
Kelsey left.
What?
Emily, did you steal a painting while I was eating dinner?
Why would I steal this horrible painting? This
That's
is an abomination.
It's not a no, but I'm gonna go with that means you didn't do it. Mr. Haskins?
Herr Haskins,
I'm just
would
now coming
you
down the
mind
stairs.
explaining this?
Explaining what? How did that
This?
get there?
Oh,
That
yeah.
is the question we would like answered, yes.
Kelsey, I need from Emily and the Countess if she wants. I need psychology or psychoanalysis, and from
That's cool. I'm hungover. I rolled a 99.
Okay, from
Extreme
Kelsey-
success.
nice, Kelsey.
On the dot.
I need you to roll either a fast talk, a charm, or a persuade, whichever is best for you.
This is going to be charm. Cocked. It landed on my book. Crooked.
Convenient.
No, trust me. It was a 28. I would have kept it, but it was
Oh.
definitely cocked.
Okay. Well, what is
Uh,
that?
So this is a charm. I got to beat an extreme, don't I?
Yep. Do we have any
Yeah.
rerolls in chat? I really don't know.
We have 3 rerolls. Emily has one. Chloe has one. Jesus. Not Chloe. Cleo has one.
Cleo.
And there are still 4 luck advances.
Oh, Jesus. Go ahead and give me a luck advance. What the fuck? Go ahead. Use one of those babies.
Cool. I got back the luck I spent earlier. I'm trying to decide how. Well, can I spend luck in an opposed roll like this?
No.
Technically,
Don't
in
think so.
opposed rolls, you can't spend luck.
Okay, hard success.
She thinks
Oh
you're
wait,
full of
I
shit.
got a reroll.
Oh, okay. We'll roll you.
Yep. And then 1 for everybody, I assume.
That's an extreme success at 17. Oh wait,
This is a
nope. Shoot, that's a hard success, but it's so close.
I was like, I rolled a 12 and it's like, oh, this is like the best thing I could possibly roll.
she Emily, you have deep suspicions that you can see there's just the littlest hint of a shit-eating grin just
Just
peeking
kind
out
of a
the
cocked
corner.
eyebrow and a little kind of twitch.
There's a certain precision with the cut lines of this painting that marks it as the work of a
A
talented-
talented American from Chicago.
a very talented individual with a penchant for absconding things that they should not be absconding.
Yeah.
You mean like silverware?
she doesn't believe you. Would
No,
you
I
say?
know.
Herr Haskins, perhaps this is not the best time for you to be showing off your skills.
I don't know what you're talking about, Miss Brandt.
If
I
it was not you, then we have to assume that this house has been compromised and there might be an agent of the cult working to do us harm. So
Or-
please assure me that it was you and that I do not have to fire all of the staff and acquire new guards for the entire premises.
Sacre bleu. The maid is like, what? No one came in. No one came in here, I promise.
Do I want the staff to be fired?
Please, Mr. Haskins, if this is your work, you must claim
I will take it out
responsibility.
of your discretionary spending fund.
That
Oh, for the staff
$1,000
being fired? Oh, no, that's not good. I will look at Miss Brandt and give her a nod and say it seemed important. Trust me, no one knows in or out. It was a perfect heist.
In fact, across the countryside, zooming in on the Louvre, that same man that met you yesterday is walking around that gallery, and he's like, and as he scans the paintings and greets them each, "Allo, allo, bonjour, allo," he sees that the one in the corner is empty, and he's like, "Think fuck." And he immediately goes and finds a maintenance man to remove that painting. To remove what's left of it. No one gives two shits about whoever that person was. Oh, I can finally put something beautiful here.
Was it really important? Why are we keeping this thing around it?
Yeah, when Cleo comes
It's
in,
very
and,
unsettling. Look at it. Look at
puts
its
the
face.
whiskey in the thing. She's like, I will say, you're like, ugh, that like just that little tickle of ugh,
Oh God.
and
Do we
like
have to bring it in
I don't
here?
know. Emily, like while you were when you're looking at, like, sometimes you can still hear or whatever the laugh was.
Oh.
Very French.
Oh.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how
It
to.
feels like it's
but it's just
mocking
like
us.
it's like it's just a derisive.
Mr. Haskins,
Hmm.
did you take the painting?
I borrowed it.
No, you can't borrow a painting from a museum. You especially can't borrow a painting from a museum if you cut it out of the frame.
An Italian plumber, maintenance man, borrowed the Mona Lisa for 3 years back in 1911.
I was like, are we making a Mario Brothers joke right now when you said
Nope,
an Italian plumber?
I looked it up in Break.
Mr. Haskins, I want to express this in most seriousness, in a way that Ms. Brandt will, I'm sure, compound upon. If you cannot make me the promise that this is the last thing that you will steal without priorly informing us to its theft on this trip, then I will be forced to have you exit your employment with me, and I will be handing you over to the Paris. Please.
With what proof, Countess?
Wow.
With what proof of...
No
Tell
one
me
saw me
proof.
go in, no one saw me go out, and the painting is in your possession.
Mr. Haskins, I'm
Cleo's
noble.
like, I saw you leave.
I'm a noble. They'll believe me before they believe you. This isn't America. This is France.
Believe a woman?
But
Well, the Countess's money will go far further.
Mr. Haskins,
Are you
all
really
I'm
gonna
asking
turn?
is
Are you?
that if you're
but-
going
but-
to
but-
do things,
but imagine the social stain upon your good name, Countess, and your good father's name associating with a common thief like myself.
All of us have heard you admit to the crime, as well as the staff here. So at this point, look, why don't we come to a solution regarding what to do with it now? But I do like this. No, please, no further stealing. I thought we had this conversation already.
Without talking to us first, there may have to be stealing.
Of course, yes. But
You are
no
allowed to
stealing without.
steal. You are allowed to steal,
tell
Mr.
us.
Haskins. You just only steal the things that we say you can steal.
You know, Countess, I'm not going to wait around for your permission to steal because there's not going to be always the time to have the diplomatic discussion to approve the theft or not.
But if we do not approve of the theft, it is probably a good reason we should not be performing any thefts.
Yeah, I
Haskins.
seem to remember a train that was turned on when the Countess was strongly against it. So,
But I was informed beforehand. I didn't say I had to tell you it was okay. I'm asking that you inform me beforehand. That is all. Johanna, I'm
If
going
you
to
so wish.
steal that. We're good.
if you so wish,
Thank you.
you know what? Yeah, sure.
Although having plausible deniability is also very nice. But in this particular
Emily's like,
case,
We may not need to know everything.
maybe just put a some things.
And you are
We
having
can
this
imply
conversation
things.
in front of the staff, or do you want the staff to not be in the
We
room? I'm
should
good with
probably
them not.
let them tell them to go.
The butler is like, I cannot even look at this anymore. And he like, as soon as he tosses it down on the table, he's like, "Pa!" And he huffs off into his normal
Well,
spot at the.
I do not believe it would be wise for us to just return it.
Oh no!
I mean, Cleo's already studying it. She like has a little set of tweezers that she's like turning it over and looking to see if there's anything on the back as they're all bickering and it's like. Okay.
Cleo clearly thinks that there's interest here, and I'm sure that I'll agree with her later.
Who is laughing?
So what is your problem, Countess? The fact that I did something without your permission, or what?
The fact that you potentially put the entirety of the staff of my cousin in danger. Had you
from being accused of stealing, or from this painting?
Keep in mind that both.
Yeah, both is
is an
good.
option.
Both is good.
Yes, and yes.
But
Trust
also,
me, if I had been spotted stealing this, you wouldn't be talking to me right now. I would have already left.
well, by the authorities, sure. But if this is connected to Fennelik in any way, and the Brotherhood of the Skin was watching it, would you be sure that you could hide from them?
Yep.
Emily, give me a spot hidden. Just this is kind of a retroactive one, but give me a spot hidden.
I didn't think
Only
I could
regular
top the 12, but
Oh wow.
I rolled a 5, so an extreme
Nice.
success.
Well, you are an astute reader of the newspaper, and you pored over it, and even at the time, you're not sure when Mr. Haskins may have taken this, but at least in this edition of the paper, there was no mention of anything going missing from the Louvre.
If he had done it overnight, most likely they won't mention it until tomorrow because of how print runs are done.
Sure. Unless there's an evening paper.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure. I know that used to be a thing, but at some point in history, they did 2 papers a day. But yeah, there was nothing mentioned. Because I figure he went out probably like 8:30 or so. Like, when did you guys go out to the club?
Probably left the house around 7:30 or so.
Yeah, I would have
Okay,
left
he
about
left
30
20
minutes
after you.
Yeah.
So yeah, it would have been about 8 o'clock.
We probably would have been out till close to midnight.
Oh, even past that, most likely.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I'm saying Kelsey may have managed to do it early enough that maybe if someone had caught it doing rounds and maybe raised alarm, there might have been a minor. Because it's not a...
It's not a well-known painting, so...
No, and the guy who would probably have raised the alarm about it was like glad it was gone. So it was like, I hated it. It gave me the creeps, yo.
We can use the frame for something new.
Yeah, we can put something beautiful here. Picture
So
of my mother.
Call the butler left the room.
He left the room. He's like, honestly, I'll even give it to you without making a psychology roll. He did not like it at all. Like, it seemed to inspire in him a great distaste. Now he put a good show on of it being, well, this doesn't go with any of the other paintings in the house. This is not something Mr. Norbert would have. Why is this here? Doesn't know where it came from. I mean, he has no concept that it came from the Louvre. There's nothing on it that marks it. There's not even like any provenance or anything on the back of the painting. Like, as Cleo's flipping it over, there's no artist signature or even any kind of impression of that. There's no anything adhered to the back that says where it's from. It's almost like the Louvre didn't even process it, because usually like galleries and things will at least put something on it that may be able to be easily removed later, but something to say this is part of this, it is now in the possession of the Louvre. It becomes part of the provenance of the art. There's nothing like that on there.
I will call the butler back in and order a very specific hangover breakfast of like the greasiest eggs that I could possibly have. And then some sort of drink that would be appropriate for breakfast, but still have alcohol in it. And the Bloody Mary is an American thing,
mimosa?
turns out, that just got
A
invented.
mimosa?
I don't, maybe. So we'll call it a mimosa.
Orange juice and champagne?
Yeah.
Or screwdriver, vodka, and orange juice.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's probably even better.
I mean, champagne's a French thing, though, right?
It is.
So I would think that it might be more readily available than vodka.
That's
true.
But something alcoholic and then something super greasy, and
sure.
Then I will grab the paper and ignore what's going on at the table.
Okay, no, that's fine. But yeah, you got the impression from the butler that he just didn't want to be around it. Something about it kind of just set him on edge. The page boy was more just like, I don't know what the hell this is, and why are you yelling at me about it? I didn't do this. And the other staff is just like, oh, the butler is yelling again, and they just like set their stuff down and they run off. You get the impression from the staff over the couple days that you've been there that the butler is kind of irritable. He probably has like a corn on his big toe or something, and it's just uncomfortable, and he has to stand all day. Give people a chance. They're probably just going through something. but yeah. So the painting is there. If Cleo, whenever she finishes looking at it, honestly, Cleo, even with there's nothing else on here. It seems pretty mundane except for that feeling of just something's off about it, whether it's the subject imparted some type of weird energy to it or the artist. But it's nothing strong enough to trigger any kind of it doesn't unsettle you that much.
Yeah.
Out of all the possibly arcane things that you've dealt with, this is not very strong.
Because I didn't hear it in the Louvre. Well, I was going to say, while Cleo's looking at it, yeah, when she's looking at it, I'm going to kind of stand next to her and be like, I don't know if it means anything, but when I was looking at it last night, I heard a laugh.
Yep, I heard that yesterday too.
Just
in the
like that.
And I just heard it right now. I'm hearing it again.
Yeah, Matt Snort was very
right
close
now.
to what the painting
Can we
does.
just get rid of it? Apparently nobody is missing it, and frankly, it is terrible art.
And Kelsey's like, I am not throwing it away. I stole this motherfucker from the Louvre. I'm keeping it.
Yeah, actually, he would.
Do any of the three of you have any artistic ability with sketching?
Nobody took craft art
No.
or art craft. Okay.
No.
My husband fancied himself a painter.
If somebody wants to try, I will allow a dexterity check to see if, for whatever sketching ability or whatever purpose Johanna has in mind.
I would like
if somebody wants to try.
I would like to carry this paint or this sketch around, but perhaps having a secondary sketch to compare to pictures of nobles from perhaps the late 1700s from Poussey, maybe. I
just have this. Oh, go ahead.
That's it.
I shouldn't have said anything. I was gonna say I just have this wonderful image of you guys going to the Bibliothèque Nationale and looking through things, and perhaps you find it, and you're just like, just
give our characters some.
Have you seen this?
Aaron would have done that though. Aaron would have done that.
Have you seen any likenesses like this guy?
So did you explain your idea?
Yeah,
Countess.
I'm
not an artist. I'll give it a try, and I'll sit down and do a quick sketch. I rolled a hard success.
I'm not an artist, but I've stolen enough.
It's I assume a hard success is good enough.
I mean, we walk in with one of those. Remember in Avatar, The Last Airbender, when they had the drawings of them? Yeah, like that.
Yeah.
Just absolutely ridiculous.
So yeah, Cleo, you have a notebook, right? That you carry around and you write stuff in. I don't know if any of the others of you have been carrying around a notebook where you've been collecting information.
Tiny little one, but that's
okay.
Not in size.
If you don't have one, Kelsey, you might ask Cleo if you can put it in her notebook with her other notes, but that's up to her if she's okay with that being added in.
she would offer it
Okay.
up.
I'll do the look nose. Yeah. What do you think? Show it around to everybody.
It's
It
it's not
Doesn't
something I
quite
would
capture
hang
the
in
sneer.
Yeah,
it
it doesn't
doesn't
also.
it doesn't it doesn't at all carry the same like intensity of like
Was just gonna
gaze.
ask.
It's a good rendition. It's a good replica or reproduction of the sketch, of the details of the sketch. Like you can tell it's the same face, but it does not carry that same that same uneasy feeling that the other part. What?
Mm-hmm.
What are you
Tell you guys
giggling
later.
at?
It's just
Okay.
it would derail things. It was a funny thought.
The cod piece is much larger in Kelsey's drawing than it is in the.
Oh,
No,
I'm gonna send it to the landlady. The drawing.
Would you like in a friend?
Leo's also gonna share the information about the catacombs.
What about the catacombs?
I guess they do tours like the first Saturday of the month, and then the staff said also sometimes if you kind of grease palms,
Oh,
they
boy.
may be open to doing like a private.
I'm sure that we can
Walk
get a
through.
private walkthrough.
as as the Countess eats her greasy eggs, she's absently wiping her greasy palms on a tablecloth.
On the painting.
This is its purpose
Hey,
now.
hey!
Can't get any worse.
It's a creepy
This is
painting,
my-
but this could be my resume.
It's not the messenger of the black wind or whatever the fuck it was that we were carrying
Right.
around in Egypt.
Oh,
Right, that is
jeez.
fair. That is fair.
There was no sanity losses looking at this painting. It was just like, oh god, it's ugly. I mean, I imagine like it doesn't tell me this at all. This is all bullshit that I'm thinking in my brain, but it's like I'm assigning it like kind of that mid-range portrait of Dorian Gray where it's like
Yeah.
it's not like they're not like a handsome French noble or something, but there's just something wrong with it.
Yeah.
And it's unfinished.
I think that our best bet is to head to the library. There's a diary that was mentioned when speaking to
The archivist that was at the
Yes.
Louvre, he was like, I don't have any.
Right,
he
that's
said he
right.
didn't have any information directly on it, but he remembers reading about. He remembers reading a diary one time at the Bibliothèque Nationale that had something that mentioned phenolic in it.
So I suggest we go there. While we're there, we can look up and see if this paint or the sketch matches anyone involved with Queen Marie. I'm guessing it's phenolic, and if it's not, then it might have an indication. If nothing else, it points towards someone that might have information on the occult here in Paris.
Just to dig a little bit. So what you're saying is it's kind of a good thing that we have this painting now as a reference for the person we're looking for or the history that we're looking for.
We never said that.
I would like to roll credit rating to ignore the person that I didn't want to hear. I assume that I have that ability with credit rating, right?
You do not, but that can just be an inherited quirk of your.
It's a trait.
Of your, that's a genetic trait that you've inherited.
Leo just looks at Kelsey and she nods. Kind of almost imperceptibly.
Well, we'll just have to keep it safe in case we need it later.
So off to the museum when you're all feeling a little bit more ready to greet the day,
Yes.
or to the
At like
Bibliothèque
1
Nationale.
p.m. really.
Yeah, it's 1:30.
Counts
You guys
time.
had breakfast and then had a little lunch, a little nibble on the way out, just to tide you over. Okay, fantastic. We can at least go ahead and get there. They're open. Let's see. So the collections of this great library are located in the center of Paris. I believe the address is 58 Rue de Richelieu. I can't say that word. But the 17th century building houses vast collections of books, medals, maps, prints, and more. The holdings begun under Louis XII and enlarged as the private library of successive monarchs were further enriched during the Revolution, and when libraries and records of all convents and monasteries were forcibly seized and placed here to be used by all the people. After the British Museum, the Bibliothèque Nationale is the greatest library in the world. Its equivalent of the British Museum reading room is the Salle de Travail des Imprimés. It's open from. Oh wait, is there more? It's open from 9 a.m. to 4 to 6 p.m. by season. So during this time of year, it probably does close by 4 or somewhere in there. We'll say that it is open till 5. It is closed Sundays and holidays. It seats 344 readers beneath 9 blue fans domes. Applicants must obtain a ticket from the secretary. So when you get there, and they say to get your ticket to access essentially the reading room, you need to you had to have your stuff confirmed. You get there, you present once again. Well, you have your documents. You give them your name, and they're like, "Ah, yes, Countess. We have received word uh, that yes, Ms. Ronaldo, you have full access. Your liaison mentioned that you would have 3 friends with you. Are these them?
Yes, these are the 3.
You are more than welcome to join Ms. Ronaldo during the research. You need to register here, and they show you a form where the 4 of you must sign and register that you are at the library. And then any books that you would like to see, you need to request by this form, and they pull out another form that you would address your um, the topics that you would like to see, and they will help direct you. There are 10,000 reference volumes available here. It's a big one.
It's
I actually have a map of it
daunting.
that I'll show you guys afterwards, like a drawing of basically the layout of the whole facility.
I really hope it rivals the drawing that we just made of the sketch.
It Kelsey's handiwork is far superior. No, but yeah. So you are able to get in. I'm gonna say it's about 10 till. I'm not gonna have you guys start on that research now. We're gonna go ahead and push that to next week.
Okay.
Well, I think this is a good place to take a pause. One thing I will say, based on this being, as you've already discussed, the library, most of the documents and the books are, a lot of it is in French. You will need someone that is good with languages, which you have. So you do not, like, you could get a research assistant if you wanted, that would also help you do additional work while you're at the library. So if that's something you're interested in, that is something that you can request at the you can request right there at the library, and they will provide someone for you, namely probably a student that is studying languages and history and things like that. So if that's something you wish, that's something we can have prepared for next week. But if you think that the 4 of you can handle it all on your lonesome,
Oh, I'm gonna have assistance. Don't worry.
Yeah, we should definitely get some.
Yeah.
There's just
Okay.
too much here for us to even manage in a single
I'm
week.
not walking around and looking for books. There's people for that.
well, honestly, if you kind of mention some of the things that you're interested in looking at, the clerk plainly states, he's like, okay, I'm confident that we have things about this here, but some of those books may be in storage. I could recommend an assistant for you that could easily go and get those for you. They are not on staff here at the library, so they would be somebody that you would need to employ. But I can
That's
provide
fine.
you a name if you would like.
Yes, that would
And
be
if
excellent. Thank you.
So a young man, a student at the Sorbonne, Remy Vangan, is who meets you. He's a young man, strong features, but he says, "I can help. what are you offering for payment? I do have to still pay tuition and room and board.
I will hand whatever is like 10 times what's appropriate to him. Just like I'm still kind of hungover. Just pull out the wallet, pull out what is
Emily,
not
do you
appropriate
stop?
at
Yeah,
all. And
Emily, do you step in?
just like not hand it to him so much as kind of like push it at him and just say this should get us started, right?
Oh, I'm going to here. Let me roll a dice.
As long as it's not an outrageous amount, Emily's just gonna let it go because at this point, she clearly has forgotten to take some of the Countess's money away.
Okay, I'm I'm going to say you offer him.
That is like her lunch money, and she's just throwing it around.
God damn it! Yeah. You offer him 70 francs.
Okay.
At which point he's like,
It's like a month's salary for him.
"Oui."
I want to lean in a little close and just say, as much as possible, I would appreciate it if what we were researching stayed between the 5 of us.
Oui.
Oui.
No problem.
This kid's gonna fall in love with you. Just
Right.
Yeah, I mean, he's already like.
I'll do anything for you.
What's your name, mademoiselle? What?
do not get too familiar. You are the help.
Excuse me. Sorry. Excusez-moi. But yeah, so you tell him what you want, and that's where we'll pick up next week. Is we'll see what Mr. Vongame is able to dig up for you, and as you explore the Bibliothèque Nationale. So thank you so much, players. Oh wait,
I was gonna say, I'm assuming for next week that we're definitely looking for the history of the Count Finilik.
Oh yeah.
Among other things. Okay.
Yeah. The modules kind of got an order that they want the information, like how the order of things that you study. But yeah, this young man will help very much. He's very good at what he does.
Cool.
But yeah, thank you all for tuning in. Thank you to my wonderful players for a wonderful game tonight. We made some good progress, I think. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you had fun. I hope you out there in Twitch watching land also had a wonderful time. Don't forget, we have shows all week. Again, tomorrow night, The Voyages of our Star Trek Adventures actual play will be coming back at 7 p.m. with its penultimate episode for Season 1. And then Tuesday night, we have By Leaps and Bounties Chapter 8, where we try to get our asses in gear and figure out what the hell's going on and not die. And then on Thursday, not die is important.
Yeah.
On Thursday, we have Growing Shadows, a Ninja Crusade 2nd Edition playthrough, and that's at 7 p.m. Eastern. Yeah, we've got a lot going on here. Again, join the Discord community. Thank you so much for any bits, tips, donations, subscriptions, any of that stuff. Again, you're helping people on the other side of the world that need it. So thank you so much for joining us, and have a good night. Stay safe. Be good to one another. Good night.
Bye, friends.